-1.
Okay, we're live. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Welcome to A Fistful of Dice, and this is the 5th session of the Provokers. I like to think of this as the Provokers Christmas special of sorts, because this is our last session before we're going to be breaking for the holidays. So this is a mid-season finale, if you will. You won't be seeing our beautiful faces together in the same hangout for a few weeks at least. So, but before we get started with the session, we were tasked. I believe it was by Carl. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Carl who suggested that we all come prepared with an actor that would be playing our characters in the Provokers movie. So he asked if all these players could come up with an actor that would play, Dice and Durgan and Brasswick and Erdon in the eventual Provokers movie. I'm already in talks with Peter Jackson about the adaptation, so
of course.
But
it's gonna be split into 3 movies.
It's gonna be exactly.
It's one though.
He's gonna take the first session. He's gonna split it into 4. I think is the idea. So, but
oh, buddy.
And then I have also come prepared with some actors that would be playing the various NPCs and villains that we've come across. So,
Yes.
So we're gonna go ahead and start here. I'd like to start with Mr. Nate down there. Nate from WASD 20. He's playing Erdon, the Wood Elven fighter. Nate, who would play Erdon in the Provokers movie?
I just want to say I'm really hoping we all didn't pick the same actor.
Everyone's like, I picked Benedict Cumberbatch too. He's just so popular right now.
All right. So, brace yourself, ladies and gentlemen. It's about to get steamy in here. How do I screen share? There we go. Screen share, entire screen.
That's why I forwarded mine to Matt.
We did a picture.
There we go. Is it sharing?
Yes.
There we go. Hugh Jackman.
Oh,
Nice.
snap.
That's a good one.
Nice.
Make his screen big. Make his screen big. Can you do that?
Yeah, I got him. I got him big on my screen.
Okay, I think I just have to talk.
Make
and
his
then
biceps bigger.
It'll get big. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to clean it.
Can I thought about trying to get some pointy ears coming out of that hair, but anyway, it's good enough.
You should have
Man,
done it in Microsoft Paint.
Yeah, just bloop.
All right.
Jeez, man.
I'll stop
That's a
sharing
Sexy
now.
man right there.
Oh my gosh,
Damn.
that's amazing, dude. And I have never seen Hugh Jackman's hair like that. That is beautiful.
I thought it
man,
was
there
a
was some
laser
pictures of
wood.
him with really long hair. I was shocked.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. All right, cool, good pick, man. So Hugh Jackman is playing Erdon. I could see it. He's got the experience playing Wolverine, so he could kind of fly off the handle. Similar to how Erdon is prone to do. But he's also got the cool, calculating, sort of demeanor. So I like it. I like
He
it.
could
Good pick.
sing. He could
thank you.
sing if he wanted to.
He could
just
do the
lip
musical.
sync and
Provokers
song.
the musical. Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
All right. Now we're gonna shoot on over to Barker from Be a Better Game Master. He is playing the slightly unstable but always lovable and charismatic Aaron Dice Ellington, the party's half-elven wizard. Barker, why don't you tell us who would play Dice?
There's really no other choice. Let's just go with it. Alan Tudyk.
So you would be playing Dice, is that what you're saying?
That is perfect.
I'm a leaf on the wind, baby.
That's
Good.
phenomenal.
I would like to say though that this was session 1. Someone said this, and that I looked like Alan Tudyk, and I can't really see it, but every single session after, I have pictured Dice looking just like this bro right here.
I can get into it, man. That's perfect.
Just a little bit of scruff. A little bit of scruff.
Absolutely, and a little bit of point to his ears from the elven blood, and I think you got it, man.
And I actually...
I think it's fantastic.
Thank you. I actually created this thing. Boom. It's actually my... Oh, dang it.
It's gone.
It made it bad. Oh, hold on. No. Oh, go to the next person.
Okay, I believe in you, Barker.
I'm fixing it right now. No, I'm not. I suck. All right, just...
You don't suck.
Son of a...
If you're changing anything about the banner, make sure you turn it off and turn it back on, because it won't change otherwise.
Oh, yeah. All right, I'll do that.
Okay, cool. All right, skipping on over to the other end of the party here, we've got Tim from Tabletop Terrors, and he is playing the Dwarven Paladin, Durgan. And we all know Durgan is the man with the blue beard and the man with the crushed pelvis now because he's just been hit with a boulder. Tim, why don't you tell us who would be playing Durgan in the Provokers movie? And I've got, let me grab the picture here, I got it ready to go.
All right, so now, I decided to go with this person, even though it's posthumously. I went with a young, even though I couldn't find the picture, Robin Williams.
Let me pull it up.
Now, wait till you see the picture. Now, I imagine this being Robin Williams in a breakout role. Don't think Robin Williams, as Mork from Orc. Think of him as, Goodwill Hunting, acting chops, things like that.
Awesome. I could see it, and I have to say your Scottish accent sort of reminds me of, Robin Williams was always fond of doing the Scottish accent, so I can definitely see it.
Right, and I thought if I had time, I was going to Photoshop the beard darker, like a really dark brown, but I was like, I don't have time.
Awesome. Good pick, man. I like it.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. And last but certainly not least, we've got Juice from Tabletop Gaming with Juice. Is that what your channel is called now, Juice?
Yeah, that's what I'm calling it now.
Okay, cool. Tabletop Gaming with Juice. He is playing the ever-faithful, ever-snarky Hill Dwarven Cleric, Brasswick Feeblehammer. Juice, why don't you tell us who would play Brasswick in your Provokers movie?
I chose two. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Now, one of them is the more serious role for it. The other one, I kind of imagine a ditzy, like the ditzier version of the person. So I'll go with the serious one first.
Okay.
And then if you guys want to pick, since you're the DM, you'd be able to do the casting call anyway. So
well, I think I'm going to leave
my
that up to
first
Mr.
one.
Jackson, but
there you go. So there's my first choice.
good old James Gandolfini, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
My second choice was Brad Pitt because I do have a charisma of 17.
Of course.
I love
That beard,
great
man.
little beard.
Isn't that perfect?
Is that Brad Pitt after they saved him from a shipwreck? What does he look like that?
Something like that.
I can't think of what movie he was growing that out for. I think that's just him. That's
That
what he
is
looks
Yeah.
just him.
That's his opportunity in between movies.
Yeah. I'm just gonna not shower anymore. It's
I'll let
gonna be
myself
great.
go.
Yeah.
I've earned that.
So, Juice, if you could somehow meld James Gandolfini and Brad Pitt together, would that create the perfect actor for Brasswick?
I think it would. You got
Yeah.
the looks of Brad Pitt. That would really solidify it. No, I'm just kidding.
Absolutely.
You could go either way. It depends on the tone of the movie.
Tyler Durden.
Awesome.
First rule of
Awesome.
Ilmater is we don't talk about
We
Ilmater.
don't talk about. No, actually, we talk about Ilmater a
I was
lot.
going to say that is the opposite of the first rule of Ilmater. The first rule of
that's 'cause
Ilmater
we're
is
all
you
part of the
talk about
club.
him at every turn.
Glory.
Awesome.
That's
Good picks, guys. All right, so I've got some picks here for me for some of the NPCs that you all have interacted with. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here. So recently, you guys came up and met Dagrum Bolt Thrower. He's some sort of storied past with our friend Durgan here, but he's otherwise a good-natured and handy in combat type dwarf. And I think Ray Winstone would make a perfect Dagrum Bolt Thrower. He's got the demeanor, he's got the tough guy looks, and he's got the accent.
Perfect.
I think it would be perfect for Dagrum.
It's interesting. That's exactly how I pictured him.
Perfect.
That's amazing.
Awesome. That's what I was going for. So
Yeah.
this was really easy because typically when I create NPCs, I'm looking at actors and characters from movies for the inspiration. So this took me like 5 seconds to figure all of this out. We haven't seen him for a while, but some of you will remember in the first session that the party came up against a half-orc named Kaldor. Kaldor, he's the Fabio of half-orcs, so I gotta have Fabio with some green paint on him playing Kaldor. I don't know.
Oh man.
I don't know if Fabio is acting anymore, but I didn't have to go find this. I already had this saved on my hard drive, obviously, so that was just ready to go there. So
He's been acting since the day he was born.
Obviously.
Oh man.
Pretty big of you to admit, Matt.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to be open. The hill giant Migrog Oakfell. He's the one who threw the boulder through the temple and hurt Durgan pretty badly. This one was actually suggested by a viewer in the last session. I went with Mickey Rourke playing Migrog Oakfell, and I think that works perfectly. And I would probably have him do some sort of like motion capture for the character of Migrog.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last two NPCs I went ahead with were Rian and Rorge, the couple that own the Wayward Wanderer. For Rian, I went with Maria Bello. That's kind of who I picture. So picture Maria Bello with kind of a bit of a southern accent, and that would be perfect for Rian.
Dice wants to go back and talk to her again.
He's like, wait,
Well, you can't because she's married.
If I
She's
knew she
married-
looked like that.
To Rorge, a.k.a. Paul Giamatti. Specifically, Paul Giamatti from Amazing Spider-Man 2 with the over-the-top Russian gangster accent.
Matt, that is my favorite actor of all time, Paul Giamatti.
I love Paul Giamatti.
All day. Especially in Sideways.
Yeah. So just picture beard here, big long beard, and you pretty much got Rorge. So
Barbed wire on his forehead.
yeah, barbed wire on the forehead. It's perfect.
Adidas jump jacket.
Burning stuff in the back of the kitchen. Nice.
Well, he's a storied hero. He would have some merchandising deals for sure.
Oh,
Exactly. So
Bro
that is
sponsored.
that we have the cast so far, and it is an ensemble cast for the Provokers movie. Thank you guys for having your picks prepared. That was excellent. And I hope, and I believe it was Carl who suggested. I hope Carl is satisfied with what we came up with. So
Totally. I actually, when it was brought up, I was like, you know what? I'm going to come up with 6 different people. I'm going to think on this. And Alan Tudyk was my first person because I was like, well, I guess I'll keep him in the running. Second was the guy who played Sawyer from Lost.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who played Desmond from Lost also. Also, for some reason I can't think of his name. The guy who plays Loki in the Avengers.
oh, Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston. And
Yes.
at the very end, I was like, what am I doing? It's got to be Alan Tudyk.
It's got to be Alan Tudyk. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what?
So
If I could throw this out there too, if no one minds, if anyone watching has a different pick, please
Yes.
by all means share who you think we should be and tell us why we're wrong. Or right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's a great call, Tim. We have 37 people watching right now. So, people, if you're watching and you're wondering why we are not playing Dungeons and Dragons, go ahead and leave a comment down below about who you would cast in the Provokers movie, because we're trying to get this thing off the ground. We'd like to try to get it greenlit quick, so definitely do so.
Peter Jackson, Uwe Boll, doesn't matter. But one more thing, who plays Matt Click?
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm going to say...
Yeah, I'll bet you would.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman is the only one that could capture my sort of like gravitas and weight, I think, is
Yeah, dude.
so.
What
Plus
about
we look pretty
Jack
similar,
Nicklaus.
so I would say Morgan Freeman for sure.
And Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis, dude, I love that guy. I love Andy Serkis.
All day.
Good.
Hey guys, let's play
Okay.
some D&D.
Yeah, let's play some Dungeons and Dragons without further ado. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do a real quick recap. I know typically I leave that up to the players here, but I'd like to try to get it rolling here. So last session, the Provokers made it to the ruined city of Demeter, and what they found was that the city was overrun with a contingent of orcs and barbaric humans, and they were being led by this massive, ugly hill giant by the name of Migrog Oakfell. The party teamed up with a group of dwarven rangers from the city of Stone Rift, and they were being led by a dwarf named Dagram Boltthrower, who seems to have a bit of a history with Durgan. It's not clear yet what their sort of issue is with each other, but there's definitely some sort of tension happening there. Something happened in their past that has sort of set them against one another. But they put their differences aside and worked together to essentially wage guerrilla warfare against this massive army that was camped out within the city of Demeter. And the party split up. I know that's a no-no. They went ahead and just did it pretty much immediately. Dice and Erdon went to the Tower of Eastwatch to try and distract the army on that side of town, and our brave dwarves, Brasswick and Durgan, went to the north side of town to a hole in the city's defenses to wage war up there. And they all went with a contingent of rangers as well. Over the course of the battle, they managed to make their way to the center of town, to the large temple there, which they surmised was probably where what they were looking for was going to be. In this case, they were looking for the scale. They were potentially supposed to give Keen Ra. They weren't sure if they gave Keen Ra, this Dragonborn merchant, the correct scale or not. And there was also lots of different loot in the temple, as well as siege weapons stored outside. So they managed to fight their way into the temple, and what they found in there was not only the collected loot, the collected spoils from all of these towns and villages that had been raided by the Corruptors' armies, but they also found, to Durgan's shock, a crate of weapons. Not any weapons, but thunder weapons. These specialized, highly prized weapons from Stone Rift that seemed to be packed up and shipped off really nicely, leading Durgan to believe that there was something amiss with this situation. Some dark tidings coming from his homeland of Stone Rift. And as we left the Provokers, a giant boulder had just hurtled through the wall of the temple, and the whole party had managed to move out of the way except for poor Durgan, who was bowled over by the boulder and reduced to, I believe, 2 hit points.
That's correct.
Luckily, Brasswick came to his aid very quickly in true cleric fashion and healed him up, but he's still not looking too great. So we left the session in media res with the hill giant sort of this massive hill giant Migrog sort of peering into the temple, and the Provokers just bewildered at what had just happened. So yeah, there's this massive hole in the front of the temple where this boulder has come through, and it rolled through. You guys dodge out of the way. It bowls Durgan over and sort of comes to a stop at the altar at the end of the temple. And Migrog, he's got the side of this hole, and he's looking in, and he's just smiling at you guys. And he starts stepping through the hole, and as he steps through, he looks even bigger up close. This giant has to be, if not 20 feet tall, coming up on 20 feet tall. He's massive, especially for a hill giant. And, he's got these kind of grimy dreadlocks that he has pulled up, and he's wearing this chainmail hauberk that's made up of weapons and chains. He's basically stitched his own chainmail out of spears and axes and bits of armor and chains and things like that, and bones, human bones. And he's dragging behind him just this massive club that looks like it was literally just a tree that he uprooted out of the ground and started hitting stuff with, and he's just been carrying it around ever since, which gives him his namesake of Oakfell. And as he steps through, you guys can actually see that he's injured. There are bolts sticking out of him, dozens of them. And you see the blue fletching on these bolts, and you know that the Rangers have been giving him a run for his money. He's still standing, he still looks virile, he still looks fearsome, but he's dragging his foot a little bit. He's got bolts sticking out of his huge calf, and bolts sticking out of his shoulders and his arms, and there's some blood sort of running down his head where weapons have found their mark. So even though he is large and terrifying looking, he's also been beat down a little bit over the course of this battle, and it seems that he has been doing battle with the Rangers for a while now. So I'm going to have each of you please roll initiative, and go ahead and type it into the chat, and we'll go ahead and get started here. That was a lot of talking. I already need a drink of water.
Well, I was going to say, go ahead and take. Sorry. What was that, Juice?
I was just going to say, are we doing initiative like we did last week?
No, we're going to go ahead and roll for it this week.
Oh, great. An 8. Okay. Oh, wonderful. And I was going to say, Matt, go ahead and take a point of inspiration for that recap.
I wish.
Oh wait, no.
Okay, so it's looking like... Wow,
Oh, God.
Durgan, I don't think you've ever had initiative first. I
I
think
was
this
just
is...
looking at that.
I think this is the first time that's happened. I'm pretty sure you've been last every time.
We
I have
suck
been.
today.
My initiative is -1, and I actually happen to roll a 13.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I thought, man, when someone else goes, it'll give me a chance to figure out what I'm going to do.
Well, you can always ready in action if you want to. Okay.
And I go before Migrog, correct?
Yes, you do. So the initiative order, it's going to be Durgan, Brasswick, Dice, Erdon, and Migrog goes somewhere in the middle of there. I have to roll his initiative still. So, but Durgan, go ahead.
All right, so everyone would notice immediately a change in demeanor of Durgan. As a giant steps through the doorway, something would change, and you would see that his maul would begin to glow with a red, magical, kind of furious light. And what he would do is he grabs a trinket from what looks to be hanging around his neck, and he holds it in his hand, and he says, "May I never find ruin in pursuit of my foes. May I unearth the freedom retribution bestows." And you see that actual, that trinket kind of glows red. And what Durgan does...
Oh no!
Oh,
Did we lose it?
That
what
was so
timing.
good. Come back, Tim.
Is he swings the hammer with the power of 1,000
no.
flaming
He turns invisible.
He turns into a tornado.
Oh, what a horrible time for that to happen.
We should wait for him because I don't want to follow that up.
Yeah, no, we'll wait for him. I'm hoping that he didn't lose his internet and the hangout just kicked him.
I just picture Hugh Jackman just thinking about what's my line?
Hugh Jackman would never do that.
No, he would just stand there and look sexy.
Yeah,
Yes, he would.
exactly. Oh
Sure,
man,
slightly unbuttoned.
hopefully he's coming back in.
Well, yeah, totally. I'm sure he is. And speaking of, by the way, a lot of people are saying that they're naming who they think Matt Click should play. But we'll get to that later because he's back.
Tim, that was so good, and then you dropped. Please continue.
I was gonna say, if you ever want to look that up, that's the definition of anticlimactic.
Yes, exactly. I think that was. That's amazing, dude. Okay, please continue your turn. That was so good.
So he's holding this trinket around his neck. He says those words, and he's actually going to use something called Abjure Enemy, which basically means that I choose someone within 60 feet, and that creature must make a Wisdom saving throw. And then if it fails, he's frightened of me for until someone hits him, or until it says, let's see, he's frightened for 1 minute until either someone hits him, or if he makes the Wisdom save.
Bitchin'. Okay, what's the DC for that?
My DC, it's pretty low, but I figured I would play in. So you're going to go ahead. It's going to be a spell save of 12. He needs to
12?
have a Wisdom save of 12.
Well, he does not make it.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, he has a -1 to his Wisdom, and I just rolled a 6, so that's a 5 total for him. So he's frightened for 10 minutes of you.
I think it's period.
Just frightened? Okay, cool.
I
So
think he's frightened. Yeah, it's my channeled divinity spell, which I think is pretty rad that it actually worked.
Yeah, so it has disadvantage on anything it's trying to do to the source of its fear, so that's you, Durgan.
Perfect.
And it also can't willingly move closer to you.
Love it.
That is really good. That's awesome.
I love you.
And does that take up your action for the turn?
It sure does, and I will stay
Okay.
put.
Okay, awesome. So you speak these words, and your maul and your trinket around your neck are glowing, and Migrog kind of gets this look on his face, and he actually takes a step back. So this massive giant that has come through the temple, and he's just he was stalking towards you guys, dragging this tree, and you speak these words to him, and he stops, and he maybe thinks again and takes a step back, clearly frightened of this dwarf, this blood just running down your face as you speak these words to him. Go ahead and give yourself a point of inspiration. That was fantastic.
Thanks, man.
Way to start out the combat. And, well, Brasswick, it's your turn.
Wow, that's a tough act to follow up. I'm almost wondering if I shouldn't even try. No.
Got to.
So Brasswick, seeing this happen and sees him step back, decides to step forward in front of the party. And he's just holding his shield right now. And decides to put his hand on the front of his shield and kind of says a prayer to himself, to Ilmater. You guys can't hear anything but some muttering under his breath. And then he just kind of says, "Guiding bolts!" and puts his hand out. And a flash of light shoots out at the big guy. I forget his name.
Migrog.
Stupid big guy.
Stupid big guy. And 24.
24 to hit is absolutely a hit.
And then this will end up giving me advantage next turn to hit him.
Okay.
10, 14, 15, 16 points of 16 points of radiant damage.
Damn.
Nice.
How far up do I come up to him? Am I like up to his ankle bone?
Yeah, he is exactly 17 feet tall, so you are a little less than a quarter of his total height. He is actually stooping in this temple.
I love it.
Wow.
And hill giants tend to be like between 12 and 15 feet tall, so this guy is big for one of his kind, absolutely. He might have some stone giant blood in him or something, you don't know.
Okay.
Okay, anything else on your turn, Brasswick?
No, I think I'm good where I'm at. I think
Awesome.
I will just hold off.
So this blast of light just shatters against him, and he staggers back even further. He sort of reaches out and takes purchase on a pillar with his hand to keep from falling over. And that brings us to Dice.
Yes, it does. Dice is kind of circling around this thing, not flanking it whatsoever, but more 45 degrees to its right, and just looking at it, clutching his staff, which is an aura of frost has just covered it around the branches of yew at the very end, and he looks up and says, "Well, that's a lot of meat to freeze," and fires 3 magic missiles encased and created by frost and ice. And all but actually game-changing. It's just flavor. At this massive beast. And the first one deals 2. Oh, yep, 2.
Okay.
3. That's 5 total. And 4. That is 9. So 9 points of damage.
Okay.
Yikes.
So he's just getting pelted with energy at this point.
Yeah.
Brasswick's guiding bolt, and then the magic missiles slam into him, and ice sort of is creeping onto his arms as the magic missiles hit him.
And Dice is humming as he does this. kind of
Awesome.
shaky, nervously.
Okay, Erdon.
All right, so I am going to reach quickly into my pack. I'm going through my stuff, and I'm going to pull out this hamstringer that I remember having.
Yes.
And I kind of begin to... Wait, can you describe this thing to me again?
Have you ever seen Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
You know the Aurochs, the curved blades that the Dothraki have?
Yes.
That's basically what this thing looks like. So it's just, you put the curvy bit on its leg and just slice with it, and it just cuts right through the meat.
Good. So I'm going to just charge this guy, and I'm going to, as I'm charging him, saying, "Something has you scared, and I don't know what it is, but I like it." And I'm going to kind of just charge at his leg, and probably not hit. Yeah, 10 to hit.
Okay. Are you trying to just hit him, or are you going to try to trip him?
I'm going for his leg to try to trip him.
Okay, so...
I have 1 point of inspiration to spend. Can I throw it to Erdon?
With the hamstringer, attempting to trip a giant with it, you actually get advantage on that roll. Because it's a weapon specifically designed to do so. And what I need from you is either a strength or dexterity check to try and trip him with the weapon. So it's not a traditional attack roll.
Okay, so strength or dexterity. All right,
Ladies and gentlemen, this could be the third combat in a row. Erdon sucks.
And I roll a 10.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Advantage.
he has
We're
to
getting
oppose
Aerodon dice
it.
for Christmas.
He has to oppose it, so there's the chance that I'm going to roll shitty here, and he only gets to roll 1 die, so...
Be honest.
Okay, well... He rolled a 10 as well, and I'm going to put the tie in your favor, Erdon.
Yes.
So, he is knocked prone.
All right.
So, you come up to him, and you just put this blade on the back of his leg and cut right through his leg, and he just drops to one knee and sort of uses his club to keep himself somewhat upright. So... He is going to have to spend some movement to try and stand up, which is going to be difficult as you've just sliced one of his hamstrings. And he's going to have disadvantage on attack rolls. And if you're within 5 feet of the creature, you now have advantage against him on melee.
Okay, and can I use my action surge, or would I have needed to announce that sooner?
No, you can absolutely use your action surge.
Okay. I am just going to... I have my sword in my hand. I'm just going to try to... I don't know how close I am, and if this is impossible, let me know. I'm going to try to jump on his head. If he has hair, I'm going to try to, just be on his hair or around his neck or
dreads,
something.
man.
No, that... yeah, you can absolutely do that. So go ahead and give me an acrobatics or an athletics, whichever is higher.
Yep. That would be an 18.
18? Yeah, you easily clamber up on top of him, so you're up there.
Okay.
And that can be... Well, you already moved. Actions. Does action surge just gives you another action? It doesn't give you an additional movement.
I think that's all I can do, unless, I'm up there, I'm hanging on.
So, yeah, you guys see Erdon just rush up, hamstring this guy, and as he drops, he just sort of clambers up on top of him, and he's sort of standing at the base of his neck, holding this curved blade with blood dripping off of it.
Nice.
Man, okay, you guys are kicking this guy's ass. But now it's his turn.
Yikes.
No.
Okay, so first thing he's going to try to do is he's going to try and throw you off of him, Erdon.
I had a feeling.
So give me either a strength or a dex, whichever's higher for you.
That tonight's gonna
Ride that thing, brother.
I go flying. I got a 7.
Oh, man. Yeah, he rolls pretty good, so he manages to he reaches up and he grabs you, and his hand's essentially as big as you are, and he grabs you and he just flings you like a gnat off of his neck, and you land about 20 feet away and take 3 bludgeoning damage.
Oh, Hugh Jackman.
Oh, Hugh Jackman.
And you see he's reaching back, holding his leg, and he's just roaring in fury that you've debilitated him so. And that brings us back around to Durgan.
Nice.
All right, perfect. So what I'll do is, if he's looking like he's not afraid of me anymore, which I'm guessing.
He still looks afraid of you.
Oh, he does. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, then what I will do is, from where I am, it's probably best if I heal myself, is what I'm thinking I would do. So
Okay.
after the rest of the crew is doing their thing, so I'm actually going to use my Lay on Hands, which basically is it's a 10 hit point pool, and I'm going to go ahead and give myself all those hit points because I need them.
Okay.
So I'll
Absolutely.
stand back, and I'll kind of just kneel at my maul and kind of mutter some words, and you see like a golden light. And while they're still, I'm soaked in blood, things are bent and scratched, you see that the wounds kind of start to seal up and things like that.
Perfect. Okay. Do you want to do any movement?
I'll probably stay there kind of squared off because I know I'm right kind of in his line of sight. So
Yeah.
I think I'm going to stay there continuing to just try to bully him, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you're mean mugging him.
Right.
All right. That brings us to Brasswick.
All right. So since is he still prone? Also.
Yeah, he's hunched over, pretty much prone. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna run up and I'm gonna try and hack off his arm at the elbow.
Okay.
And I had a 22. And
That's a hit.
Wow.
that is for 4 points of damage.
Okay.
And that's with my battle axe. I just kind of come up, and then I just do this huge, like, haymaker type swing at his elbow.
Yeah, you manage to lodge your axe into his elbow. It bites in pretty deep, but doesn't lop it off. Okay. Dice.
Sorry, boys. And Dice's staff of you just touches the floor, and from the point at which the staff touches it, it spreads this slippery surface, this ice rink, out from the staff and onto where this beast is standing, and that would be a 10-foot square centered on his point.
Okay.
And
So-
he must. Each creature standing in its area, including my buddies, sorry guys, must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or fall prone. And the 13 is the spell save DC.
Okay.
It's grease.
21.
Is Durgan close enough to have to make that save?
Durgan is not close enough. Erdon and Brasswick are.
I rolled a 15 with no modifier.
Okay. So he's making everything at disadvantage right now. And he failed, so he's already prone, so he's double prone.
Yep. So my idea is that if he's down, we'll keep him down.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's
Good call.
actually what Dice says.
Nice.
Okay. Very nice, guys. Okay.
What did you expect any less, Matt?
No, I don't know. I always enjoy it when parties are really strategic and help each other out. It's just fun. It makes it fun to run combats as a DM. So,
I suppose casting grease on top of Erdon was probably not the most tactically sound, but it was fun.
you make it with the knowledge that based on Juice's rolls and Erdon's dexterity, you're probably good to cast it there. You're like, Juice, you got the Greenwood dice, so you're good.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, considering I have no dex modifier whatsoever.
Yeah.
I rolled a
And
19 on that last one.
awesome.
Rad.
So,
Sorry.
if they move or end their turn in that space, they have to make another saving throw, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just make sure. Sorry. Enters the area or ends its turn there must succeed. So.
Okay,
moves-
cool. So, yeah, if you guys stick around in that area, it's every turn, and that includes the hill giant. So, okay, that was Dice. So, Erdon, you were up. So you've just been flung a few feet away. What do you
Right.
do?
So I'm gonna shake it off, and I'm clearly a little bit shaken. But at this point, I would take my bow and I would knock an arrow and let it fly at that guy. I'm aiming straight for his face,
Okay, awesome.
and it's an 11.
11
Good hit.
doesn't quite hit. Your arrow goes wide as you kind of slip a little bit on the ice that Dice has put down on the floor.
Damn it.
And I will make my save, and it looks like I fall.
Oh, damn. All right, Erdon goes down.
2.
Okay. And that brings us to Old Hill Giant. Okay, so he's going to spend some movement to stand up, or stand up as well as he can. It's really more like sort of hunched over. One of his legs is bleeding horribly from being cut. And he's sort of leaning on his club. But he's going to take a wild swing with that club at you, Brasswick. And you actually manage to duck under it, just barely. You feel the wind buffet above you as this tree just right over your head. And
I probably didn't need to duck.
The wind, the wind being displaced by it is actually enough to kind of like scoot you over a little bit. It's that big of a club. And he's going to go ahead and make his save. And he actually makes it, so he's going to remain standing until his next turn. Okay. Durgan, you're standing there. You're kind of separate from the rest of the party at this point, sort of back a ways. And behind you, you hear this scraping sound, like stone sliding against stone. And if you turn around and look, the boulder that bowled you over, it's moving. And you see the rocks sort of shifting in the rubble, and you see what looks like a limb come out of the boulder and grab the edge of the altar, and another arm comes out and grabs it. And this thing sort of lifts itself up, and you see that it wasn't a boulder that the giant threw at you, it was an earth elemental. And this thing comes to its full height, and debris and dust is just sort of falling off of it, and it starts stepping towards you.
So long, boys.
Can I give something to Durgan?
Yeah, go for it.
Maybe toss him. I say, Durgan, the only thing that destroys Earth is water. And I toss him this item that I've obtained.
I forgot you had that.
The gem. It's a blue gem that just looks perfectly sharpened and perfectly edged. And from the inside, it looks like rippling water.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
What?
So, Durgan, you now have the elemental gem, and it is your turn.
Okay. So, would Durgan know how to use this thing?
Oh, crap.
Because if not, I would try to guess.
Well, Dice knows that you throw it at the ground, and it breaks open, and an elemental comes out. But whether he told you that or not is up to Barker.
Dice automatically says, you break it on the ground and an elemental comes out. No, he doesn't. He wouldn't.
So what Durgan would do is he would look at the gem, and then he would look at the earth elemental, and he would grin. And I'm not sure how many of his teeth are still missing from that earth elemental actually rolling over him. But he would take it, and he would throw the gem at the elemental.
Awesome.
And try to break it on him so that the thing literally just, like, comes out on him.
That sounds like a dwarf thing to do. Just throw it at him.
Yeah,
so
you huck this thing like a Molotov cocktail against the earth elemental, and it shatters, and a wave just kind of comes out and washes over this earth elemental, and it kind of staggers back. And as it does so, the wave sort of crashes on the ground and then swells back up and takes on this vague sort of humanoid shape. And assuming that it was just thrown at something that you want it to kill, it rears back with a watery fist and crashes it into the earth elemental as these two titanic creatures begin battling each other at the back of the temple.
Oh my god.
And Durgan would look over at Dice and go, "Good thinking, lad."
And they're not making any sounds, but it literally sounds like a rock slide fighting a tidal wave. Like it's just crash, wave, like rocks sliding against rocks. And it's just this cacophony from the back of the temple.
That's so cool.
Okay. Awesome. Anything else you want to do, Durgan?
I would, no, I would probably just, you know what I would do? I would definitely just be on the lookout, kind of looking back and forth to see which threat is going to be the worst threat, so I won't be surprised, but that'd be it.
The hill giant at the front door or the earth elemental at the back door? Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay. Brasswick.
So he's no longer prone, he's standing, correct?
He is standing, yes.
Okay, then would I be able to switch weapons from my battle axe to this thunder hammer?
Yeah, if you just want to like drop your battle axe or like stow it really quick, you can easily draw out your thunder hammer.
Awesome. Then I want to do that, and I want to hit him right in the ankle bone, on the inner ankle bone.
Awesome.
Yeah. And that would be a 14 to hit.
Is not enough to hit. He manages to slide his foot off to the side, and your swing goes wide.
Doggone it. I rolled a good damage die that time.
All right. Anything else, Brasswick?
What you get?
No.
Okay. Dice.
Out of character first. Juice put a hat on. This is ridiculous. Has anyone here ever seen Juice without a hat?
I don't think I've ever
God.
seen Juice without a hat, and I also didn't notice that. Now I can't look away.
That's
It's
It's
so
like-
beautiful.
No, it's like Elrond level forehead power right there.
There you go.
Good stuff. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dice is now ready. Dice looking back, seeing the water elemental just duking it out with the earth elemental, just like you said, like a wave fighting a rock. It doesn't even look like they're fighting. In many places, it looks like just a shore with the water just crashing upon rock occasionally, and each become more and more diminished as the fight goes on. And I look back at the giant. Tell me what I see. Is the giant still prone or standing up now?
The giant is sort of standing. He's hunched. You see blood flowing freely from his left leg where Erdon has cut the hamstring. And he looks like he's sort of backing into the corner of the temple, and even though he's defending himself against Erdon and Brasswick, he's also keeps glancing up and looking at Durgan, almost like he doesn't want to get close to Durgan. He's constantly backing away and shifting himself away from Durgan.
Great. And Dice would say, "Durgan, get him!" And Dice moves forward and says, magic missile.
Magic missile.
Magic missile.
Magic missile. Actually, I had a good line in my head, but magic missile. That's 11 points of damage.
Damn, that's pretty good for a magic missile, man.
You know what? This D4 I got at PAX Prime in Seattle at a D&D Next booth when it was first being play tested. So I'm using my playtest dice for the actual thing.
Are those the white with the blue numbering on them?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
those are beautiful, dude. I keep seeing pictures of those dice from people who got them at PAX, and they're beautiful looking dice. Yeah.
Bro, I've got 2 sets, so just speak softly to me and let us live, and maybe I'll...
Envious. Awesome. Okay, so all right,
Actually, Dice will say, Falhast, huh? Falhast? And then he'll fire the magic missile.
Awesome. Okay. Erdon, you're up, my friend. You are prone.
Right. So I'm gonna. If I. How far away am I?
You're about 15 feet away from the melee that's happening between Brasswick and the giant.
Okay. So I'm just gonna leave my bow on the ground here. I dropped it as I fell flat on my butt, and now I'm gonna leave my bow, kind of grimace and draw my sword, and I'm gonna run up to him, and I'm gonna actually just try to distract him and grab his attention by going, "Hey, Migrog! They said you were big!"
Awesome.
And I'm gonna try to distract him so my friends can better destroy.
Awesome.
That's it.
Why don't you give me a just like a flat charisma check to see if you have the strength of your inner strength is enough to catch this giant's attention.
Can he take my inspiration, too?
Nat 20.
Never mind. I'm just kidding. I'm cool with it.
Oh,
He's good
there
by
it is.
himself.
Awesome. So this giant
There it is.
totally. I mean, you're basically Ian Malcolm in Jurassic Park here, getting the T-Rex's attention. The giant just locks on you and is completely not paying attention to Dice or Brasswick anymore. So you have successfully aided your allies, so anyone who is attacking the giant until the start of your next turn gets advantage on that attack. Good job, Erdon. That was awesome.
That Jurassic Park reference was on point, son.
I know, dude. All my references are on point, man. They are just the illest references around.
All of them.
All of them. Awesome. Okay, so it is Migrog's turn. He is going to... Well, he just got magic missiles hitting the side of his head, so he's actually going to... How far away are you from him, Dice? Are you kind of keeping your distance?
Sort of, but you know what? Dice would probably get a little too close. I think
he's got to reach a 10 feet with this huge tree. So if you're within 10 feet, he's gonna easily get you. So he's gonna swipe out with his massive club. Oh man, and he just totally biffs it.
Someone's
yeah. Someone's
hot pocket's finished.
1 second.
I was gonna say, all right, everyone, someone's hot pocket is finished. Is that what you said?
Oh, I thought it was a smoke.
Yeah, someone's hot pocket's finished. Listen though, guys, don't mess around. You gotta let it sit for 1 minute.
Might burn your
You gotta
mouth.
burn your tongue.
You won't take anything for 6 or 7 hours. It's not worth it.
I want to say,
Burning the hot pocket.
all right, here's really quick from our comments. Mark Dingle, which is the best name of all time, has casted us. Dice, my character, is Alan Rickman. Erdon is Jason Statham. Brass.
I actually looked at his picture when I was looking stuff up.
Nice. Brasswick is Mel Gibson. All right.
Religious nut?
Crazy. He's crazy enough, you know. Durgan is Gerard Butler. You sexy beast. You know it.
Nice.
And Matt is Vin Diesel with a winky face, which to me means I'm being sarcastic. You're actually Andy Serkis.
Dude, I want to be Vin Diesel. Come on.
I still want to
go Gerard Butler. I was gonna go Gerard Butler, but it seemed like too obvious. I was like,
Everybody went for the sexy character.
I know. Sorry about that, guys. My fiance was just burning the apartment down, so it's all good.
Well, you know, it is what it is.
All good.
Hey, as long as you don't lose your internet connection, that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. As long as the fire doesn't reach the router, we'll be fine.
Priorities.
More, bro.
Priorities.
So, okay, so he was swiping at Dice. He totally missed. Dice, you're able to easily duck under the club as he swings it. He's almost swinging wildly at this point. And the earth elemental and the water elemental are fighting one another. They take a few swings at each other, and it's like Barker was describing, where it's just, the water's sort of wearing away the rock, and the rock is sort of punching through the water, and every time it does, these puddles are sort of collecting almost like blood on the floor. Nice. And the water elemental will sort of diminish down into a puddle, and the earth elemental will start looking around, and the water elemental will just come up from under it and engulf it and smash it to the ground with these waves. And they just continue battling each other, slamming each other against the wall, and actually knocking a pillar over in their melee. Okay, and that brings us back to Durgan.
All right. So, what is the shape of Migrog? Is he looking like a threat to anyone at this point, or?
He's taken a lot of damage, but knowing what you know about giants, he's got a thick hide and a stubborn streak. So to take him off the battle at this point is not a smart thing. He's still a credible threat. He could easily just stand up and take all of you out. So you're definitely still aware of that.
Okay. So what I'm going to try to do, again, just thinking in character here, I think I'm going to try to use command word, which is basically, it's a first level spell where I just tell him what to do, and he gets a wisdom save to try to either do what he wants to do or follow what I say his next initiative.
Right.
So that command word would be, I would say, yield.
Okay.
And I think you just have to roll the wisdom save throw. My DC is 12.
12. Okay.
Oh, I think he's still at disadvantage to me.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Okay, making the roll. Wow. He actually makes it.
Who's Jake?
Who? Yeah.
Who
who's-
was that? Someone joined the call.
Somebody?
Who are you, Jake?
That was weird. Did someone share the Hangout link?
Probably on accident.
It's
I'm
possible
assuming.
when you have it public that they can just go and join through the Google Plus stuff.
Oh, weird. Okay.
I've had some lurkers join chats before.
It's okay.
Interesting.
Weird.
All right, if you're watching this,
No.
please don't join the Hangout. You are free to watch and enjoy, but the more people we have in here, the less bandwidth we have between us. So
I actually
It
have
already
a,
looks like 8-bit.
yeah.
For me, anyway.
yeah. Alternate theory. Jake is the name of the giant.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
just been booted.
I
He's
asked
gone.
I asked Jake to come in and help us by role playing the giant. So
Jake the giant.
That's amazing.
Jake the giant, exactly.
We're all calling him Jake for the rest of the session.
I was wondering if we had like a guest NPC to play Durgan or Dagrum or something.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious.
You're sly, man.
So he makes his wisdom save against your command word, Durgan. So you tell him to
Okay.
yield, and he says, "No." All right, and do you want to do anything else in your turn? Move or anything like that?
No, I'm still gonna kind of keep my distance. I'm in my head. I'm equidistant, kind of to both skirmishes, so I'm just kind of
Yeah.
eyeballing both just to see which one I'm gonna have to jump into.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Brasswick.
Yes. So now that I've got the Thunderhammer in my one hand, I'm going to drop my shield and pull my mace up, and I'm going to try and hit his ankle again with both the mace and the Thunderhammer.
Awesome.
So I'll roll with the damage too, just in case I hit. And we'll see what happens. Whoops. Alright. Ooh. So I got a 17 with my Thunderhammer.
That is a hit.
Alright, and that would be 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 points of damage with the Thunderhammer,
Okay.
and a critical fail with the mace.
Okay. So you smash him with the thunder hammer, and there's this loud sort of thunder clap as you do so, and you feel static electricity sort of run up your arm as you send a jolt through the giant, and he staggers a bit, and you swing with the mace, and he manages to sort of duck out of the way of it. Okay. Anything else, Brasswick?
It looks like Tim said something about luck.
I didn't want to metagame. It's too late now, but don't forget,
I know.
you had luck, bro.
I
I
did
waited till
forget.
after
did
you
it.
took the damage.
Yeah, that's
He
my
did it in the-
fault.
He did it in the chat to be all secret and stuff, and then friggin' Juice went out and said it out loud.
I know. Well, I was reading it as I was saying it, and thank
Bad
you for
choice.
reminding me that I do have that feat.
No problem.
I will use that next
forgot it
time.
last time. He forgot it last session, so it's good. That he
I
remembers
always
this time.
forget it. I have too many
Yeah.
characters.
You're so unlucky.
Okay. So that was Brasswick, so that brings us to Dice.
Dice is so arrogant since we first met him. He has uncovered his power. He's gone down into dungeons. He has fought owl bears. Was it an owl bear? It was an owl bear. And he's going to try to climb on this giant.
Okay.
Wow.
Give me a...
Tell me what I need to roll.
So either give me an acrobatics or an athletics, whichever is higher for you, and he's going to oppose it with his strength.
Excellent. And he's going to pull out his dagger on the way up, his gleaming masterwork dagger. And I'm going to use my inspiration
Go for it.
to gain advantage. So I have 0 inspiration. I am no longer inspired after this. Okay, that was a 10, and then a come on, baby. A 5.
So 5?
A 10.
Okay. You attempt to clamber up him using your dagger as sort of like a climbing hook, and
Gotcha.
he just sort of swats you aside, knocks you about 10 feet back, and you take 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Excellent. I love it.
Cool idea, though. I like it.
Yeah, you know. All right. Cool.
Okay.
Can I
Erdon.
hit the wall or something? Can I hit the wall and
Oh,
slide
yeah.
down?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
All right, so I still have my sword in hand, and this time I'm going to rush toward him, and I'm going to kind of jump, and I'm going for his belly button with my sword over my head, just trying to stab that right into his belly.
Awesome.
Nat 20.
Dude, there's the rolls.
I know.
All right. So I just
Need
double
information.
everything. Is that correct, Matt?
Yeah, just roll your damage with modifiers and double it.
Okay. Oh, man. Roll the 1 plus.
God.
So 3. So 6 damage.
6 damage. Okay.
He did the big damage roll there.
But you definitely hit something vital. You sort of just... You get your sword at just the right angle and just cut through like butter right in his belly, and blood just kind of spurts out and splatters you a little bit as you come down from your leaping attack.
Yes.
Okay. That was Erdon. Erdon is last, so Hill Giant. Okay, so he's got Brasswick and Erdon in melee with him. Dice has sort of been swatted a few feet away. Durgan is a few feet away. So let's roll to see who he's going to hit here. Okay, so he's going for Erdon.
Of course he is.
Oh, man, okay.
Love you, Nate. Sorry, man.
Oh, that's the wrong dice. I am rolling the wrong dice.
Is it a lower one? Because that's cool.
It is, actually. So he brings his club down, and you bring your sword up to block it, but it's just too heavy, and he's got too much strength behind it, and he brings the club down in a crushing blow and deals 10 bludgeoning damage to you.
All right.
That sucks.
Damn. Juice.
It does, man.
I know. By definition, that sucks.
Okay. And the Earth Elemental and the Water Elemental are going to continue their melee. Ooh. And it's not looking so good for the Earth Elemental. The Water Elemental gets a few good hits in, and the Earth Elemental actually stumbles and falls back into the altar, and it falls back into some of these crates of food and stuff that were on the altar and just crushes them, and shards of wood go flying everywhere. And the Water Elemental sort of continues forward and crashes against him like a wave, and then flows back and continues with these sort of like tidal waves that are coming in and out and slamming against this Earth Elemental, and it keeps trying to stand up, and the water just keeps crashing into him, bringing him down. Bits of rock are just flying off of him, and it looks like the Water Elemental, if it continues in this fashion, is going to be victorious.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay.
Oh, awesome.
That brings us back around to old Durgan.
All right. So the last thing that happened was I tried to tell the giant to yield, and he said no. And
Yeah, he said no.
Right. He said no. So what I would do then is I would look at him and I would say, I was going to keep you alive and torture you for information, but have it your way. And I clench my maul, and I say the words, I am retribution. I am the hand of freedom, formed into a fist to the likes of you. And I'm just going to charge this guy.
Awesome.
Like, I just want to smash his face in beyond repair. Like, the greatest cleric in the land couldn't put Migrog together again. You know what I'm saying?
You have not met Brasswick. No.
And, Durgan, make sure you roll with advantage because he is still frightened of you.
Oh, awesome.
I was half expecting Tim to lose his connection during that awesome speech.
I know.
I can mend his face, okay?
Yeah, good. would you? It's so I actually rolled with the modifier. It's an 18.
That is a hit.
Okay.
Awesome. So don't forget, I am using this electrified maul from my hometown of Stone Rift. So as it sails through the air, I just cinematically, this streak of lightning starts from my fists and just charges up to the end of this maul as I smash it right into his face.
Awesome.
And then a D4. 12 damage.
Nice. Not bad. Yeah, so you actually hear some bones crack as you bring this maul down against his face. You've definitely shattered something vital. He sort of goes slack-jawed a little bit. Okay. Awesome. Anything else, Durgan?
No, I think I'll just gird my loins and wait for the other shoe to drop.
Awesome. Okay, Brasswick. So Durgan has just kind of ran past you and smashed his maul into the giant. So at this point, it's you and Erdon and Durgan all facing off against this guy.
Is he wearing boots or anything?
No, he's barefoot.
Barefoot? Perfect.
Yep.
Okay, then what I want to do is I want to use my... Would I be able to hit him in the ankle and then move and then hit him in the toe?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
You can spend movement between attacks.
Excellent. So I'm going to do the Thunder Hammer on the ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Just to rattle him a little bit. Yeah, that's probably not going to hit. 13?
Nope.
All right, and then I'm going to move over to the toe with my mace. I want to hit him, but I want to hit the toenail and lift it up.
Oh. Oh, gnarly. Okay.
This is mean.
I didn't do it though. I rolled a 2.
His
wait, no,
toenails are just too
I did
fierce.
not. I'm using my luck.
Okay.
Give him a pedicure, baby.
I missed again. Dang
At least he used it.
Yeah, as you bring your mace down on his toenail, you actually think, man, I should make a shield out of this. This is one tough toenail.
Oh, we were still doing that.
You totally give Brasswick an idea, man.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said that. Okay. Dice, you're up.
I'm doing it too.
Awesome.
No, I'm not.
I just got slammed into the wall,
Yes, you did.
and I reach for my staff, and I pick it back up, and I stand back up, and I look. How is and the water elemental looks like it's beating the earth, correct?
Yeah, it's high tide, and the earth elemental is the beach. It's just crashing up against it.
Nice. Dice is still kind of humming to himself. And he looks over at the giant, and the giant is just being fought and fighting himself, and will almost subconsciously hold his staff out and fire another magic missile, another magic missile at this giant.
Awesome.
That's 2, and then 5, that makes 7, and then 2, that makes 9. 9 points of damage.
Sounds like School of Rock over there.
It does. I'm ready.
No,
I'm ready for
it's 9. You're right. It's 9.
It's been too long since I've seen that movie, man.
9. I have never seen that movie.
Oh, it's so good. You need to
know.
see it. It is
You
so
would
good.
love it, Barker. It's perfect for you.
It really is.
We'll do.
Um,
We'll do.
So, your magic missile slams into him again for the 3rd time this battle, and he actually staggers sideways and falls against a pillar, and he's sort of leaning up against this pillar for support at this point. It looks like he is having a lot of trouble standing up between his injured leg and the bolts through his calf, and Brasswick slamming into him with his hammer, and the ice that is underneath him. He's not looking good. and there's some desperation in his face.
Dice is holding his staff out toward him, very similar to a red lightsaber with the crossguard on it.
That brings us to Erdon.
That's so lame. Sorry.
Right, so I've just been kind of, my bell has been rung, and I shake it off once again. Shoot. And I gotta remember not to set him up for anything. All right, so I'm gonna just kind of say, "You're not looking so good, Migrog," and I run, and I'm gonna go for the exact same thing, jump in toward his belly, and I just have my sword once again. Second time's a charm. This time I'm not gonna get hit, but I miss.
Oh,
Roll a 7.
damn it!
So I maybe go.
Too.
So I maybe go flying, and instead of getting his belly, I fall short, and I go in between his legs and kind of hit the rocks where he's leaning up against.
Nice. Okay, so that brings us to the giant, and
He misses.
wow, he actually makes his intelligence check. He is running. So Durgan, Brasswick, and Erdon, you all get opportunity attacks as this giant turns and heads out the door.
Nice. In that order, or how do you want to do it?
Let's go Durgan, Brasswick, Erdon.
All right. And I'm feeling so good, I'm going to roll damage with my d20.
You gotta say a
Don't
cool
do
one.
it. It doesn't work.
Right?
Tonight's the
15
first night I'm
hit?
doing that.
Say again?
Does a 15 hit?
It does not.
Okay, because I do have advantage, right?
You do.
And luck.
Nope, I'll take the 15. That was a critical fail. So I'll take the miss.
Yeah, you swing at him with your maul as he turns tail, but he sort of moves out of the way, and your maul just slams into the ground, and lightning crackles out of it. Okay, Brasswick, opportunity attack.
Oh, I can't use both attacks. I can only use one.
Just
That's right.
one.
So, okay. So, Thunderhammer. Luck. Oh my gosh, I rolled the exact same thing. Yeah, I miss. It doesn't even matter.
I think the Greenwood Juju is finally wearing off of those dice.
Oh man,
I've had a couple bad
he
games.
shaved his beard.
Yeah.
Actually, that's what it was. Or
Okay,
he washed it.
Erdon, it's up to
Alright.
you, my friend.
All right, and I'm going to expend inspiration that I had last time, or does that not carry through in sessions?
It carries through.
Okay, very
Sure
good.
hope so, because I used mine. So
I just take a swing at his leg to try to once again stop him as he's running. And ooh, nice! I got a 1 and an 18, so I'll take that 18, which is a 20.
Absolutely. That is a hit. Roll for damage.
All right, yep,
Nice. Get him.
8 damage.
Erdon, how do you kill Migrog Oakfell?
Oh man, I've slashed his leg, and then I quickly turn my blade, and as he's falling, that one spot that I've been aiming for in his belly button, I just this time backhand stab right through his belly, and I just get sprayed with blood as I've hit something very vital. Clearly, he falls to the ground and he's just gurgling.
Yeah, you guys see Erdon disappear inside a torrent of blood and gore as he slashes the giant that's toppling over.
Dice says, "Holy shit!"
And
Or frack or whatever the curse word is in this. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever the equivalent is of holy shit in this land, Dice says it.
It's shat.
And Aaron says, "You've been hanging out with the dwarves too much with that mouth."
If you ask my iPhone, it's Shiv.
So Migrog lies dead with a pool of dark red blood pooling out underneath him. at the back of the temple, there's a pile of rubble, and there's just a wave crashing against it. The earth elemental has fallen, and the water elemental, with its last remaining strength, is just sort of pummeling what used to be this creature.
No. And Dice is moving toward the fallen giant, and he grabs Brasswick on the way, just grabs him by his collar, and just starts moving him towards it and says, No. Bring him back. I need to talk to him.
Are you sure?
Just... How do you say? Just one hit point, Brasswick. Just one. He's going to Falhast. They're all going to Falhast. We have to
Guess
find
I
out.
can do it.
Good.
I'm going to grab Dice by the shoulder and I just say, we know they're going to Falhast. What more do you need to know?
When are they going to Falhast?
We've been told this in a month's time, 30 days.
I know, but are they counting down?
So I'll grab my shield again, since it's got my holy symbol on it. And I will try to cast Cure Wounds on the fallen giant.
Hold on. Really quick, as Brasswick begins the enchantment, I look at Erdon, and Erdon's looking at me, and it's just, yeah, what? No. And I grab Brasswick's shoulder, and I say, no, what? No. He's right.
Okay.
We know.
Get
Okay.
your wits back, boy. Get your wits back. And I kind of pat him on the chest a little bit.
And Durgan
All
would
right.
square off with Dice, lovingly, just kind of grabbing him by both shoulders and say, I've dealt with a lot of hill giants. And if you brought him back, he wouldn't talk until we killed him again. It would have been pointless anyway, lad.
I didn't know the energy that I had until I met Holly, and if it were gone, I don't know what I would do.
And let's go.
Dice begins to cry into the shoulder of Durgan.
And in an uncharacteristic move, especially with the dead giant in front of him, there's a lot of different things that's going on through Durgan's past. He would sort of lean a little bit, kind of like a half bro hug, but not a full dwarf hug. And he would just say, he would lean in and he'd say, aye, let's go find Holly.
The whole time though, he's looking at Brasswick and Erdon like, what the fuck, guys?
And then I come in and hug you guys and embrace you and pull you all really close. Like, this is a full like, I love you guys.
This is uncalled for.
Yeah.
Fun.
Hands off!
You're a dwarf. You love hugs. Don't pretend.
As you've pulled everybody into this embrace, and you guys sort of break off the hug, you notice that Dagrim is standing in the doorway of the temple.
Damn it!
And he says, "Am I interrupting something?"
You want to join?
No,
No.
Just,
No.
there's my move. And I kind of just look busy, like I'm, like, what am I doing? I'm pretending to look busy.
Yeah. I'm just get out a rag and I'm wiping blood off of my face and trying to clean myself up a little bit.
I'm wiping my eyes like, it's just the allergies here in the Demeter area. It's just really, it's the trees, man.
I just shrug and hold my shield and my thunderhammer out like, whatever.
He Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Durgan would probably look to Dagrim and go, hey, you want to do the regular? I'll check his boots and his loincloth, and you check the rest.
And
basically, let's pat this guy down for information.
Absolutely. Yeah, so you guys search Migrog's corpse, and you find 140 gold pieces.
Nice.
74 silver pieces.
Oh, all right. Erdon's already writing this down. I can see it. Yeah, I look at Nate. He's the history teacher in the group.
2 giant toenails.
Made for shield.
You also he still has that sort of tattered cloak that he was wearing, which appears to be an old banner of Bilton, the town to the south. You could easily take that off of him if you wanted to. And on his right hand, he has a really nice-looking ring that appears to be made of like a white marbled stone, like way too nice for a giant to be wearing.
That's a nice ring, gentlemen.
Yeah. And as as you're giving out this gold, whatever, I just imagine, Durgan and Dagrim kind of going through, rifling through, and any gold I would find, I would throw it towards Erdan. And I'd be like, hey, split this among everyone. And I'm just chucking like gold and silver kind of behind my back, like, and then I would say, "Aye, Brasswick, do you recognize it? I don't know anything about that kind of jewelry."
I do not recognize it.
Dice takes a glance. Does he recognize it, or can he tell anything magical or arcane about it?
You can either give me an Arcana check or a History check.
I just know that marble is usually used for my temple's altars.
I think Dice would probably... It's equal, but he'd probably know more about the history, so he'll go for that. And that's a 24.
You actually, you recognize it pretty much right away as soon as they hand it to you. And as they do, it's sort of giant-sized, but it immediately, you all know it has some magic to it, because when you take it off of the giant, it shrinks down to a regular human size, which magic rings are capable of doing. And Dice, you recognize that this is a signet ring of the Convokers. It is a ring handed out to all members of the Convocation in the floating isles of Eris. And it does two things. It affords the wearer some protection. So it gives you +1 to your armor class. In addition, anyone who's wearing the ring can activate it to speak clearly into the ring, and their voice will carry for 300 feet. So Convokers use these as like megaphones. If they're flying around, they could basically be like, nothing to see here, folks. The Convocation is here. We're here to deal with it. They can use it for crowd control. They can use it to communicate with one another in storms. It's basically something very important to a Convoker. It's given to them when they're accepted into the Convocation.
Dice would take this as very interesting and surprising. And with his mind, he would even think, maybe I could be a Convoker. Maybe I could be a Convoker. I could fly through the skies. I could convoke. And all this thought process happens within a split second. As anybody around me who think they might see him would see him looking at this ring in a very Boromir at the One Ring sense. Just really...
I smack you in the back really hard.
Oh!
Get a grip!
And I open up my pack that has all the gold in it, and I say, let's throw it in.
Let's do this fair. He throws it in. Yeah, of course. It's just a mere trinket. It's a trinket.
Well, I don't know. And then I look at it in my pack and I say, secondhand, it
No,
appears to have some power. Someone want to wear this?
Dice slowly
I
raises
love
his hand.
jewelry.
I don't know about you, Dice. I was thinking of one of the dwarves. They're usually up front in melee combat, a little more. I'm trying to make excuses here not to give it to Dice.
No, it's a good point. And Dice would actually say, "Good. No, it's a good point." Brasswick, I think you should take it. I think you should.
I'll happily take it. That's a nice ring.
And I
then I was going to say, Durgan would absolutely tease Brasswick and go, "Hey, what, are you not loud enough without some fancy ring? That's not even stonework. To use stonework on something like that, that's wrong."
Nice.
What are you talking about? My church has white marble everywhere.
Listen, if you like wearing Gurui, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. What pleases you?
And Dagrim says, "It looks real pretty on ya."
I couldn't agree more with you, Dagrim. A rarity.
What is that saying? If you like it, you should put a ring on it? Yeah,
Aye.
Oh God, I'm sorry. I got to mute my mic to laugh.
So Brasswick, that gives you +1 to your AC, and as I said, you can use your action to speak clearly, and your voice will carry over 300 feet.
awesome.
And it doesn't have any sort of
This thing
symbols or
off.
anything on it. It just looks like marbled stone. It's sort of white and gray and pretty shapeless, but it's a nice looking ring.
I like it.
While Durgan, while you and Dagrim were looting the body, Dagrim also draws out his hamstringer and he climbs on top of the giant and he puts the blade, the curve of it, on the giant's neck, and he just starts slicing through this giant's neck. And it's not pretty looking. He has to take a few whacks at it with this thing before he can hack through the bone, and blood is just spraying out of the head, and he's sort of like keeping his head back as the spray is sort of coming out of this thing. And
I would hold the head steady for him.
Yeah, and as he finally gets a good enough cut in it, he starts putting his boot into its head to try and break it off, essentially. And he does so, and the head comes rolling off, and he says, "We're taking that back to Stone Rift.
Why?
Migrog's killed many dwarves. He's an enemy of the city. We're bringing it back to prove that..." And he kind of stops talking, and he says, to prove that this wasn't a waste coming here.
And Durgan would say, "There's something I need to do first." And he would take the trinket from around his neck, which you could clearly see it's basically a broken piece of what looks like a giant coin, literally. And you can see that Durgan gently places the coin onto Migrog's head, and then he takes his maul, and he repeats the same prayer that he did before. He said, "May I never find ruin in pursuit of my foes. May I unearth the freedom retribution bestows." And he just taps his maul so that the etchings on the coin stamp something into Migrog's head, and when he takes the coin back off, it looks like there's a mountain there. And he says, "Blood Mountain's mark." And then he puts the coin back around his neck.
And as he's doing this, like, Dagrim gets very quiet and sort of bows his head reverently, and you get the sense that this, like, the dwarves are very ritualistic, traditional people, and as Durgan is doing this, Dagrim is giving him all the time and space he needs to complete this task that he's doing. And as you finish, Dagrim kind of nods to you, and he looks to the rest of the party and he says, We lost 6 dwarves in the fray. They fell beneath the clubs of Migrog and his ogres. It does
How
my
long
heart
have
good.
they been down? I might be able to do something.
Our cleric wasn't able to help him.
And Dice would hold Brasswick's shoulder and say, I've been in this situation. Not all the dead are salvageable, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Dagrim says, "It does my heart good to see Migrog down. You all have done a great service to Stone Rift. I came here to Demeter with these rangers against the wishes of my kings. I was either coming back to Stone Rift a hero or a traitor. I'm hoping I can be something in between with this victory."
And I would say, you dwarves fought bravely. You did well. But we were wondering, and I kind of motion to the crates that have been smashed. Do you know anything about this? This does not look good.
He looks past you to the crates, and at first he's like, "Aye, they probably have been storing stuff here from the..." And he stops as he sees the crate with the symbol of Stone Rift on it. And he goes, "Oi!" And he like pushes past you, Durgan, pushes past you, Erdon. He starts running towards this crate. And he's looking at the shards of this crate that Durgan has sort of smashed. And he's like, Where did you find this? What is this?"
We were hoping you could tell us.
"No, And he looks down. "These were weapons of Stone Rift. What were they doing here?"
Did you know they were missing? Did anyone from Stone Rift report any missing weapons?
"No, not that I've heard. Granted, I've been out of the city a couple weeks, but we hadn't heard anything about this. This is... We don't ship our weapons out. We don't sell them. There's no reason weapons should be here."
Well, somebody is.
Yeah, Durgan is very quiet. He's just watching. He hasn't said a word. And I was wondering if I could do an insight check or whatever I could do.
Anybody who wants to can do an insight check to try and gauge if Dagrim is being genuine.
16.
So mine would be an 8.
Okay.
Might as well be a 0.
So, anyone who got 15 or over, you can tell Dagrim is distraught and bewildered, and he's almost in shock by what he's found here. And it's hard to tell if he's being genuine about not knowing about missing weapons, but he is most definitely shocked and surprised to see Stone Rift weapons here in the hands of giants.
Okay.
He looks at you, Durgan, and he says, "Durgan, you know, the giants are our enemies, our eternal enemies. There's no way we would have given them weapons. They must have stolen them somehow. I don't know."
And Durgan kind of, as he's saying this to him and as he's pleading to him, Durgan kind of finds his wits and remembers his history with Dagrim and remembers Stone Rift, and he turns to the rest of the group and he says, I don't like him, but he's no traitor."
I think it's pretty clear that Dagrim's not a traitor. But there is a traitor amongst the ranks there.
He slams his fist down on the crate. He says, "There's no way any good dwarf of Stone Rift would be doing this. There's no way. They had to have stolen it."
And
Clearly
explain
they're not a good dwarf.
I don't...
Tell us any other way. If you tell us any other way, I'm sure we'll see reason.
I can't think of any other way. There's no way they would have gotten Stone Rift without us seeing them. And we don't ship this stuff. There's no way they stopped a caravan or something. Stone Rift weapons don't leave Stone Rift.
We'll find out.
Kind of sneaky and maybe has left Stone Rift recently to deliver.
Or anybody that would gain, anybody that would have something to gain from its, I don't know, the weapons being traded into Demeter?
I can't imagine what they would have to gain. And as for someone leaving, well, dwarves don't normally leave Stone Rift. And as he says this, his eyes kind of meet yours, Durgan's, and you guys kind of share a look. And he says, "No one that I know of has left the city."
Aye. And then I would say, sternly, I'd say, we need to take this. We need to take it before Stormhammer and Hornhill. They need to know. And one of them needs to answer.
They're not going to grant you an audience, Durgan. I highly doubt it.
Aye. But don't you still owe me a favor?
Dice starts laughing. Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah.
Dagrim kind of throws Dice a look. He looks back at Durgan and he says, I owe you and yours a favor. That's
I claim that
correct.
favor now. Take me before Stormhammer and Hornhelm. I know you have a monthly audience with them. You're captain of the watch. I claim my favor now.
This is what you want?
Aye, and then we're square.
Then we're square.
And then I would spit in my hand, just like before, and I'd hold it out.
He does the same, and a little bit of blood comes out because he's been hit a few times with a club. He takes your hand, grips it real tight. He looks you dead in the eye, and he says, "And then we're even."
Even.
And Dice would look to Aerodon and just whisper, "That's disgusting."
Oh, did you see all that blood?
God dang, that's disgusting.
And maybe when Durgan does it, a tooth comes out into his hand as he spits.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. And it just kind of like sticks in there. And then I would kind of haphazardly take it out and kind of try to put it back in.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, awesome. So we are going to go ahead and take a quick break, guys. Maybe 5 minutes, and then come back. We just hit 50 viewers, so that's really awesome.
Wow. Oh my god.
Awesome.
So everybody stick around. We are going to take a break, and we will be right back. So don't go anywhere.
Yes. If you hang around during our 2-minute break, you are a real fan. That's how we work.
It's true. Even though
True statement.
we won't.
Yeah, I know. Later.
Here's a quick question. There is actually my brother's girlfriend drew a quick sketch of the water elemental, earth elemental fight, and she shared it to Facebook, but she just shared it with me on her wall. Where could she share it with all the rest of the comments? Is it on YouTube?
I think what she should do right now, I think what you should do right now is open it up and share your screen so we can all see it.
All right, let's see if I can do such things.
I think that's the best way to do it.
Here we go.
I mean, she seriously did that in like the last 1 hour.
Oh, dude, it's like the quickest sketch. It's so cool. I love it. She just it's great. So, screen sharing is through the control panel.
On the left, you'll see a green screen with an arrow on it.
Oh, perfect.
Yep. And then you just click on it.
All right.
And then it'll probably boot you off, just because.
Nice. All right, here we go. All right. Can you see it?
It's a black screen so far. Give it about 4 seconds. Yes. It's a sad little earth elemental being beat up by the frothy water elemental. Why did she make the water elemental look so evil? Are you there, Tim? Tim?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right. It looks like the water elemental. It looks like the water elemental is beating up the Pillsbury Doughboy, and the Pillsbury Doughboy is really sad.
That's what happened.
No, that's awesome. She's going to play my game, right? Oh, I can't really hear you.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say she sent me a text, and I guess she said, "So sad," and I said, "What sad?" She said, "The Earth Elemental." So I'm not sure if she was pulling for the Earth Elemental. I'm not sure.
Unbelievable. Well, I'll be right back.
Me too. I have to use the restroom, so I shall return.
What?
All right. I'm going to go through the comments here. We have 51 people watching, which is awesome. So, let's see. What do we got for comments here? Thank you, everyone who's watching. This is awesome to have so many people turn out for our mid-season finale of sorts. Let's see. Yeah, don't forget to take the toenail, Aldrich says. I know, that was funny. Group hug. Aerodon totally gutted Migrog like a tauntaun. Yeah. Razor says, I don't know if you did, but it would be cool if you wrote the player's HP somewhere. You know, I don't know how I would do that, and I don't like to know what everyone's HP is at. I like to be able to not metagame it. I don't want to be pulling punches, and at the same time, I don't want to be hitting harder than I need to. So usually, I just let players manage their own HP. If they want to announce it themselves, they can do so. But yeah, I'm not big into it. Jam Rocket says I should be Stephen Leah Shepherd. I don't know who that is, so I'm gonna look it up. Oh shoot! It's the DM from Freaks and Geeks. Oh, I love it. That's awesome. And Durgan would totally be Carlos the Dwarf. Oh man, that is so funny. That's the best casting yet.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
I was thinking, you said that ring magnifies your voice.
It does.
So I have thaumaturgy, which also does that. Would those stack, and how would you work with that?
That's a good question. Let me look at thaumaturgy.
Because thaumaturgy is, yeah, it says it does it three times your normal sound.
Okay. I would say I would probably let it stack. I imagine it's like that scene in The Simpsons when Bart lines all of those megaphones up and speaks into it and like sends out this shockwave. Not necessarily that loud, but I would say that if you use thaumaturgy to make your voice louder and then spoke into the ring, that it would be magnified that much. So yeah.
Awesome. I like it. Okay, cool.
I love they gave the ring to Brasswick. That's just perfect. Brasswick is just like, all right, now everyone will hear me.
Yes. I could talk about hot and...
What was
my
that?
whopping 7 intelligence is going to come across real well.
Hey, Tim, are you there, Tim? It might just be me, but I believe Tim's screen sharing might be cutting the make it a little more bandwidth usage than necessary.
Oh, that's so funny.
Had a lot of
someone
lag.
drew the elementals fighting.
Oh yeah, that's a Cassandra. That is Tim's partner James from Tabletop Terrors.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
his girlfriend or fiance, I don't know.
Oh, that's awesome. That's adorable.
What's
I
awesome?
like that the Earth Elemental was the bad guy, but the Water Elemental is just like choking him out, and his face is just like, oh no!
So he looks like a Harry Pillsbury Doughboy.
It does. That's perfect. So someone casted us using the cast of the Expendables. I don't know if you guys saw that.
What does it say?
Durgan is Sylvester Stallone.
No.
Brasswick is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
All right.
Erdon is Jason Statham.
Nice.
Dice is Jet Li.
Wow, really?
Migrog is Mickey Rourke. Convenient.
Yeah.
Dagrum is Randy Couture. Caldor is Dolph Lundgren. Rorish is Terry Crews, and they have the Corruptor being played by Bruce Willis.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
does that mean I can run around and stone cold stun everybody? Just
I
kick
think
them in
so.
the gut?
Yeah.
I believe I do remember the Corruptor saying "Yippee-ki-yay" at one
Yeah.
point. in the game.
Mother trucker.
And a couple people have asked who would play the Corruptor, and I thought about doing that, but I didn't pick anybody to play him because you guys don't know what the Corruptor looks like. He's had a helmet on when you saw him, so I feel like picking somebody to play him would give away a little bit.
It's the bad guy from Inspector Gadget.
No.
I'll get you next time, Gadget.
Or maybe the guy who was in the Darth Vader suit.
Yeah, exactly.
No. It's Salah Baker who played Sauron in The Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh, there you go.
Right there.
Nice.
That's how I imagined him. Yeah.
Well, and I was thinking somebody with a cool voice because he needs to have a cool voice and you wouldn't necessarily see his face, but I decided not to. I feel like it would just give away too much. So.
Gotcha.
It's Morgan
because
Freeman.
At some point, someone's going to hit the corruptor so hard that his helmet flies off, and I just want that to be a moment. So. You
want it to be Elijah Wood.
Yeah, exactly.
You just want to hit him, don't you?
Okay, awesome. Is everyone back?
We are back.
Awesome.
Do I see Tim? Is Tim back?
Yeah. No, you don't see me, hear me?
No, I see your logo.
Oh, that means my internet connection's...
Terrors!
Tabletop terrors!
Dude, that's awesome.
YouTube.com and search for Tabletop Terrors.
Every day I sing that song. It doesn't matter what.
So good.
Juice's advertisement techniques times 20.
He's a walking billboard.
That's awesome.
I'm just a little low-profile NASCAR right now.
Brasswick Feeblehammer brought to you by Tabletop Gaming with Juice and Tabletop Gaming with Juice on Twitter and Facebook and www.rpgjuice.com and search for
Tabletop RPG One Shot group on Facebook.
Mother of God. Soon you're not going to have any room.
And go to my Patreon and throw your money at me in hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, Juice's Patreon is exclusively for buying hot and readies. So if he gets $1,000, he can get 20 hot and readies.
20 of them.
Remember?
Right. I could.
Because
then I have to pay taxes.
Yeah. I love that the hot and readies thing is a running gag now because we brought it up during the City of Glass game on Friday too, where we were talking about the 20 hot and readies.
I watched that. I watched the closing ceremonies of
Brigade
Brigade
awesome.
Con just the other day, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that guy cannot do math." So I love you, Juice.
Well, the best part was that he said it, and we all kind of glossed over it, but then we had to go back and be like, "Can we just realize that Juice just said 20? He could be like 20 hot and readies."
Yeah,
I think only one person caught it.
Yeah, it's like that's definitely in my top 5 Juice moments for sure.
Oh, you guys thought I was bad with my panel. Look at my pen with a picture of my face.
Oh, look at that.
Whoa.
I'm showing my phone number to the world.
Everybody call Juice.
Don't worry, dude. My camera quality is so bad that I couldn't even do that if I had like a CSI budget.
It looks like Braille.
Yeah. That is what
Here we go. I'll do this a
I
little
will say
better for you.
we have 53 people watching right now.
We do. We have 53 people. And actually, I want to... A really good question came in, and I know we were just about to get back into it, but I actually want to address this and have you guys weigh in a little bit too, because we do have a great bunch of DMs in the Provokers. Elena Bailey asks, I wish I could inspire my group to treat combat the way that you all do, instead of just calling out numbers. Any tips on how, as a DM, I can do that? And for me, it has a lot to do with the people you're playing with. Obviously, I have been blessed with 4 amazing players who all do a great job of narrative combat, describing their actions, and also just being creative and not letting the rules hinder them. But I would say that as a DM, there are ways that you can kind of foster that, and part of that is doing narration yourself, making sure you set a precedent. Don't just say, he swings at you with his club, does an 18 hit, or you want to narrate what the enemies are doing as well. And most of the time, your players will pick up on that and follow suit. And the other thing you can do is call them out on it and say, if a player rolls a critical hit and they do a massive amount of damage, say, what does that look like? How are you hitting this guy that you're doing that much damage? Are you taking his leg out? Are you stabbing him right through the gut? What does that look like? And just sort of wean them into it. You want to try to just slowly get them to narrate what they're doing. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I would say automatically persuade your players or convince your players that it's okay to take the punch. It's okay to be knocked down. When we were kids, we were like, "Oh no, I shot you. No, you didn't hit me. Oh, I shot you. No, you didn't hit me." No, it is okay to say, after a one player hits another player, "Oh, I take the punch across the left side of my face. My second molar is knocked out of my mouth, and it just dribbles on the floor as I fall to the floor, and I stand back up." that is absolutely not as it only okay. It's not only okay, excuse me, but it's preferable.
Yeah.
Encourage your players to be defeated occasionally because their heroic victories will be that much more awesome once they're
Exactly.
defeated.
Part of being awesome and badass is being able to take a punch, like you said. I mean, if you watch like Dragon Ball Z, I mean, half that show is the heroes just getting the absolute crap beat out of them. You know, it makes it more awesome when Goku, you know, comes out of the rubble and his arm's all bloody and he just looks like crap when he can come back and still win the fight. So absolutely, that's great advice.
That's why kids love John Cena right now. He gets beat up for 20 minutes and then hulks up and wins in 2 minutes. Same thing with
Cena.
Yeah. Actually, I was gonna say, you know, I struggle with one of my groups with this, and then the other group is pretty cool about it. The group with Nate, for example. My other group, they just spout out numbers, and it can be kind of boring at times. But you know, I think what Matt said is kind of right. Like, you can pick up the reins to help them a little bit sometimes by narrating it for them, and then sometimes, and I did this with the group with Nate early on, I said, all right, you got the kill shot, describe it, you know, and I started with just kill shots, and then from there, you know, if they get a crit, I kind of say, all right, well, you know, explain it, you know.
Yeah.
And I think they realize that adds to the fun and excitement, and eventually they might, and I say might because not everyone will do it, but they might start doing it because it adds to the fun and they realize it's fun.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best tip you can give with something like that, for sure.
Yeah, so narrating critical hits and kill shots absolutely is a good way to get them started.
Yeah, and reward it, whether it's inspiration. Yes. I use XP for my players, so sometimes if somebody has a really awesome description of something, I'm willing to throw bonus experience as well.
Exactly. Giving them in-game benefits will go a long way, I've found.
At the very least, just tell them, hey, nice description.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Nate? You have any advice in this arena?
Yeah, I would just say, you know, balance is important. Balancing being encouraging and being, you know, maybe positively, constructive criticism, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, you need to pick your battles, I guess is the point, right? And be, you know, like I think, Matt, your idea of only doing it on crits at first, and then once they, you know, if they start doing it on crits themselves or on kill shots, then, you know, then start, you know, asking them other times, well, how do you hit them? And don't do it every time because you might wear them out and they might not get it at first. But, you know, pick your battles and here and there look for ways you can encourage more role playing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to touch really quick upon it's not just you know, melee and ranged combat. It's also spells, getting them to think about what their spells look like and how that works. I find that, you know, somebody playing a wizard or a sorcerer will kind of jump at the chance to think about what their spells look like because they've seen magic in movies and stuff like that, and so they can kind of say like, oh, well, this healing spell, like my hands glow and I say a prayer and I hold it over them and it like cauterizes the wound, or they say, you know, well, like, you know, Barker does an excellent job flavoring his spells to sort of, you know, sync up with his character, and he does a great job with that. So, you know, not just combat, but I mean, when somebody does a skill check, what does that look? If somebody's picking a lock, ask them, what does that look like? What kind of tools are you using? You know, are you kneeling at the lock and, you know, you sweating your brow and you're wiping it away, or are you doing it expertly? You're not even thinking about it. You got the dagger in there and you just pop it. You know, it's just sort of goading them into it, getting them into talking about what their characters look like and act like and things like that. And I find that, you know, with the right group, most of them are going to be into it. So.
The one more thing, really quick. I mean, regarding, thank you very much for the compliments about dice and my role playing. But you know, it's all about that there are two types of role players. There's a role player that looks at their character sheet and then decides what they're going to do, and then there's the role player that decides what they're going to do and then looks at their character sheet. And you should be that second type of player.
Yeah, absolutely.
And convince your players to be the second kind of player. Persuade yourself to be like, what would this person do? This is a human being or an elf. This is a real person. What would they do in this situation?
Yeah.
I'm guilty of the other side, unfortunately, and then I make decisions.
Oh no, not at all, Juice. You're not guilty of this. What?
I find it. I mean, it is. It's hard not to, but it also. I mean, sometimes as a DM, you sort of have to you ask the characters, "What would you guys like to do?" And they all look down at their character sheets. Just say, "No, don't look at the character sheet. Look at me. Tell me what you want to do, and I will tell you what you need to roll." That's my job as the dungeon master. You know, you don't want to think about what can I do in terms of everything that's laid out on the sheet. But simply just getting into the character's head and thinking about what that character would want to do and then applying the numbers afterwards. That's absolutely true.
That brings up something kind of interesting that so
as we're waiting for Tim to get back.
We're waiting for Tim to get back.
We're waiting for Tim to get back. Go ahead.
My biggest pet peeve, and I run encounters every week. I also run the 2 at home campaigns. And my biggest pet peeve is when I say, okay, guys, give me a whatever roll. And everyone says, well, who has the highest skill for that? Or who's proficient with that? I hate that.
Yeah.
And everybody does that. And everyone can roll the skill. It's a matter of if you would want to do it. And something I'm guilty of, too, though, is I try not to let everybody roll for the same thing because there's no point. Because then you might as well just give it to them anyway.
Yeah.
For some things. And so I'll tell them, one of you do it and somebody else can aid it.
Tim has returned.
Yay! But yeah, that's
Sorry
my
about
biggest pet peeve.
My internet totally crapped out.
Yeah, that's
Too much meta things are talked about. Like, how many hit points do you have?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I can heal this much, so I'll use a first level spell slot.
No, that's totally true, Juice, and that's why I get in the habit of saying anyone who wants to make this check or anyone who would know something about this, go ahead and make a check. It's it's something about dragons. I'm not just going to say everybody make a check. It's if you think your character would know something about dragons, go ahead and make a history check or an arcana check or something like that, and letting the players sort of govern themselves, facilitating that.
For sure.
So.
And just before we continue, something Matt Click does, our DM, is pretty amazing. When we decide that we want to do something, he says yes, comma, and. He goes with it. Whatever it is that we do, he goes with, because in the end, you are not the governor of this story, being played in by 4 other players. You and those 4 players, 5 altogether, assuming there are 5 people around your table, including yourself, are the creators of the story as a whole. And that's what's cool about Matt, is we can do whatever we want. And he says, okay.
No, it's true. And
cynical as he wants.
Well, and I don't want to sidetrack it too much, just to throw one thing in there. One of the things I love the most about this group is we all roleplay to our faults. And I think that makes it easier because he can trust us that we're not going to take advantage of it. We actually do a really good job of saying, well, no, my character wouldn't do that. I will take those 5 hit points of damage. I think it's rare to find a group that will do that.
I think it was last session, Tim, you actually willingly took a roll at disadvantage because you felt that you wouldn't be at your best, And
exactly.
that's just a testament to, your character has to fail in order for their accomplishments to mean something. There has to be failure in there. Otherwise, nothing, you can't just be super awesome badass all the time. You have to take, like Barker was saying, you got to take your punches, literally and figuratively.
For sure.
And I think that comes
play with us.
Right. I think that comes, too, with the fact that I don't think any of us are playing to win the game.
Yeah.
Whereas most people, I would say most people probably play the game in a very power gamey, min-maxy, win the game mentality. Unless they've played with a group like all of us or whatever,
Right.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, good sidetrack conversation. We managed to maintain most of the viewers while Tim was away. So
yeah, sorry about. I don't know what happened.
No bullshit. We gained 3 more.
Oh, okay. Never mind. We gained.
We're up to 53.
We're up to 53.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me get my internet to go down again.
Tim dropped, and people just flocked to the game.
Like, oh, he's.
Yeah, Tim's gone. Let's get in there.
Hang on, let me take a note
Demeter.
about that. Don't let Tim in live chats. Okay.
No, you have to let me in because they have to feel the rapturous feeling of me dropping.
Exactly. That's the only good thing about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe
cool.
it was the suspense that brought more people in. They're like, will Tim return to this Provokers campaign?
I don't know. We have 0 dislikes. That's a good thing.
Okay,
Rock and roll,
so Dagrim and Durgan have just shook hands disgustingly with spit and blood, and have reached some sort of agreement with each other as to what's going to happen. And it sounds like Durgan has talked Dagrim into bringing you guys to Stone Rift and presenting you before the two kings of the Thunder Dwarves, where you can state your case, both looking for aid against the armies of the Corruptor, and also looking for answers as to how these highly prized and highly dangerous dwarven thunder weapons ended up in the hands of evil ogres and giants. And so, Dagrim looks to all of you and he says, if you don't mind, we'd like to have a burial for the dwarves that fell.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Absolutely.
Most of the ogres have moved off, but I imagine they'll be coming back. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like your help in destroying the siege engines outside. We can't let them have things like that.
Aye.
I agree.
I'll put my battle axe to use for you.
Good. And he kind of ushers some more dwarves in, and a few come in, and you see outside milling around, the dwarves have brought in their rams. And I didn't show you guys this picture last time, but I'll actually show you what these battle rams look like. They're bigger than normal rams. They're about the size of a pony, and they have sort of barding all over them. These sort of plated armor and studded leather, and these huge curving horns. And some of them, the horns are tipped with steel. So these things are hardy animals used for beasts of burden and also for war mounts. And a couple of the dwarven rangers are milling about in the streets on these rams with their crossbows on their shoulders, just sort of keeping an eye out for trouble. And Dagrim beckons a few of them in, and with some rope, he lashes the head of Migrog to the back of two of these rams, and says, "We're bringing a mighty prize back to Stone Rift." And the rangers go, "Yeah!" And they all put their fists up in the air. And Dagrim tells them to quiet down, and he says, "Our brothers who fell today would have been happy to see this. And they would go willingly, knowing that their deaths would bring about the death of Migrog Oakfell." Yeah!
Aye.
And Dagrim looks back to you all and he says, "Let's load up. I want to get back to home."
I light some incense over the bury. Are we burying him right here?
Yeah, he's got them laid out, and he's actually, the traditional way that the dwarves do it in Stone Rift is they burn the bodies, and the smoke and the ash that goes up into the air, it's collected in the clouds, and it becomes the lightning that is streaking down. So the lightning of Stone Rift it's literally their ancestors up above, sending this lightning down to them as a gift. So the dwarves of Stone Rift, rather than decomposing in the ground as would be traditional for most dwarves, they like to do the funeral pyre and send them up into the storm.
I turn to Dagrim and I say, do you mind if I burn an incense for each one, as is customary in my beliefs?
Not at all. Be happy to have it. And he looks to Durgan and he says, "You of course be welcome to see to any prayers or rituals for Tritherion as well."
Sure. I'm sure I'll think of something.
So I light an incense for each one, and I kind of do like a, my own little thing, and then toss it into the fire for each guy, and then return back to the group.
And I would rifle around in I don't know who ended up with it, but the tattered banner that Migrog was wearing, that was actually a city's banner.
Yeah.
I would kind of fold it ceremoniously and kind of set it on like a rock and burn that as well.
Awesome. Yeah, you send these brave dwarven rangers and the memories of the town of Bilton up into the sky to become one with the clouds up there and carry the storm of Stone Rift on.
And Dice will actually sing during this.
And while all this is happening, I am just kind of hunched against the wall. I've got my knees up and just kind of sitting on the ground, looking down, kind of shaking my head.
And these dwarves are all very reverent. No one really speaks. They just kind of bow their heads as the bodies burn, and they watch the smoke and the ash go up into the heavens. And Dagrim kind of sidles over to you, Eridon, and he nods to you and he says, "I've never fought beside an elf before, but you did really well. And I hear it was you who dealt the killing blow to Migrog."
I do what I can, but we thank you for your support. The weapons you gave us were very useful. And as I said before, your dwarves fight bravely.
Aye, they do at that. I couldn't help but overhear. Well, when you fired off the thunder tube in the Tower of Eastwatch, you were calling out a name when you were huddled in the corner. You remember that?
I think I do, yes.
Who is she?
She's my sister. I don't know where she is. I hope she's not with our father anymore. I left early.
Someone you left behind.
Right.
Aye. And Dagrim kind of looks to Durgan, and Durgan is sort of seeing to his rights over this banner of Bilton. And Dagrim's looking at Durgan and he says, "I know the feeling."
Aye.
Now take care, Eridon.
You as well.
He pats you on the back and moves off to stand beside the funeral pyre where his rangers are burning. And unless anyone has anything else they'd like to do or say, the bodies burn. It takes about an hour for the funeral to finish up, and as the bodies are reduced to ashes and cinders on the ground, the dwarves sort of load up, and they bring a bunch of supplies. There's a lot of still good food and clothing and things like that left in the crates in the temple, and they sort of load up whatever they can on these rams before setting out.
And as soon as it was, as all this is going on, the funeral rites finishing, I would never say something like this during that kind of ceremony. But as soon as that's over, if Durgan overheard anything that Eridon was telling Dagrim, he would definitely, go over to Dagrim and go, "Oi, you're not going to try to make a pass at his sister too, are you?"
And Dagrim looks at you, Durgan, and he says, "No, Durgan, that was a long time ago, and just keep it coming, because we're going to be even here in a little bit, and you're not going to be able to say anything anymore." And he kind of moves off, kind of like regaining his dwarven, like rough and tumble thing, and he kind of moves off.
As the last embers of the fallen dwarves materialize into sky, Dice's voice fades away, and he looks at Eridon, and he hears the words that he left her behind, and he sings, "Fear thee not, O beautiful, for he is a dead man. He died in Casrin killed him by my sword hand. So fear thee not, O innocent child," and he becomes very solemn, "whose father had just been slain. For there's a place inside your head where you can play pretend that everybody stays." And the final embers of fire and departed dwarf just turn into air.
And Dagrim would definitely put a hand on your back, Dice, and he would say, "That was beautiful." And you see he's actually got a little tear in his eye, and he wipes it away and he says, "It would have done 'em good to hear a good song. It's been a while since we've heard music.
Who says they didn't?
True enough. True enough, Dice. Alright. None of this. They've been sent off. We know where they're going. Into the next life. They're ahead in the storm now. It's time for us to move on and do what we can for the people still living. And the Rangers all nod to him. And he says, let's move out then. Let's leave this blasted ruin on our backs. For good. And they all load up the rams and head out with you guys in tow. Are there any sort of special preparations or anything you guys would like to do before you set out? It's about a 2-day journey to Stone Rift.
My shield's on my back. That's all I know.
And it just got patted by Dice. You feel the metal just slap against your spine as he just slaps it. You ready, my brother?
Always.
If I got Ilmater, I need a little Tritherian. Durgan, come on, let's go.
And you would see, I'd kind of, and I'd come over and, and awkwardly, the song was fine. It was very nice. I liked it. I didn't cry. I mean, it was fine. I liked it.
Oh no! Let's move on. It's time to move on.
Aye. Oh, of course. I mean, that's what I'm saying to you. It's what I'm saying. And so if you see what Durgan's doing is, I don't know how they're traveling, but basically any chance he gets, he's trying to basically take off his armor in pieces and bend back at least in some sort of shape from being smashed by that boulder so that it fits. Because I'm imagining it being all bent and everything.
Absolutely.
No, I'm just trying to get it back to where it fits together nicely.
Awesome. And before I forget, everyone please take a point of inspiration for the awesome strategy during combat and the great role-playing afterwards. That was awesome.
Awesome.
Will do, without question.
In your games, do they stack or no?
Yes, they do stack. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've been doing inspiration since 3rd edition. I just call it Fate Chips. So now it's actually in the game. So that's awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah, he did it before that. I remember his old video, and then when I saw 5th edition, I was like, I gotta find that video.
Yeah.
And then I found him like, we're doing it before them.
I was an inspiration hipster, man. I was doing that before the game even came out.
They got it from you.
Exactly.
Yeah, they didn't steal it from Fade or anything else. They got it from that.
Yeah, that's not it's not a thing in Savage Worlds or anything like that. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, the dwarves are basically using the rams as beasts of burden at this point. They've loaded them up with everything they can, and on your way out, you guys take some time and smash up the siege weaponry to make sure that it can't be used by whatever next, evil group takes over the ruins of Demeter. And they load everything up, they head out, and they're sort of walking beside these rams, and you all definitely notice that there's about 6 extra rams than there are rangers, because they came with riders and left without them. And on the walk to Stone Rift, you guys have been walking for several hours at this point, and you're getting fairly tired having done battle in the city of Demeter and now making this trek. And as you do so, the ground gets craggier and craggier, and all the vegetation and the trees sort of give way to rocky, jagged ground. And you're not walking for long at all before snow starts falling around you. And as you're getting close to the White Crags, chill on the air sort of sinks down to your bones, and the dwarves sort of bundle up, taking out their cloaks and wrapping them around them as the snow starts falling and collecting in heaps on their shoulders and on their shields and helmets. And Dagrim, as you're walking, he kind of makes his rounds, talking to all the different rangers, sort of milling between all of them, making sure everyone has what they need. And you all get the sense that he's a fairly respected leader, and Durgan, it's been a while since you've seen Dagrim or interacted with him, and you
Sure.
see that he's definitely done some growing up in the time since you've seen him. And, being fairly young for a dwarf, he's definitely risen to the occasion and taken the mantle of Captain of the Watch very seriously. And in his millings, he actually catches you, Dice, and he says, "When you jumped out the window with the thunder tube, I thought you were a goner. That was the craziest shit I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot."
He looks at him and says, I disagree with you, but no, I would agree. I thought it was dead.
I never thought I'd see you again after you leapt out the window. I thought I was going to have to tell your elven friend that he just couldn't take it. The heat of battle, he leapt out the window at the first sign of trouble, but turns out you were crazier than any dwarf I've ever known. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but for what it's worth, there it is.
And for a moment, Dice is laughing. And when he says that, "You're crazier than any dwarf I've ever known," he goes, "Yeah."
Dagrim kind of catches your look, and he says, "Anyway, maybe keep the window jumping to people who know what they're doing next time, huh?"
I will. I'll keep it to a minimum.
That would be good. And after a few more hours, he comes up to you, Brasswick, and he says, "So, Feeblehammer, tell me of your home, the Northern Kingdoms. I've never been."
Oh, well, let me tell you, man. You thought those siege weapons were impressive back there. We've got huge siege weapons to fight the frost giants of the north. And if your thing is giants, well, that's fine, but we also have other little terrors that we step on a daily basis. The halfling barbarian hordes.
And
Oh, those little savages.
when you say that, he spits, and he's like, "Halfling barbarians? That
Yes.
sounds awful."
Oh, it is. It is. They're like little gnats. You swat at them, and they just keep coming from everywhere. Oh.
I'd rather face a fully armed hill giant than deal with halfling barbarians. At least I know how to kill a giant.
Yeah, it's not too much different. You just gotta watch out for them biting you.
Ugh.
Feral things.
Well, I hope you make it home someday. You're far away from it.
Yes, that would be nice. However, I do think that being able to spread the word of Ilmater, it's been a blessing.
Fair enough. You're like Durgan in that way. Seemed like he couldn't wait to get out of Stone Rift. But, and he kind of, his voice hushes and he says, "But it'll be good to have him back."
Yeah. Well, where I'm from, it's kind of customary to be sent off to do some kind of missionary work.
Bit of a walkabout. I get it.
Yeah.
Alright, well, stay warm. This weather probably suits you.
Yeah, I'm a little more comfortable now.
He, gets some snow out of his hair, keeps walking. So, you guys finish up the first day of marching, and the dwarves sort of spot this rocky overhang and set up camp underneath, and they set up a few small fires and start digging into dried meat and mead, and Dagrim sort of makes sure that you guys have a place to set up your own little fire, sort of off to the side, but near enough to the rangers where you're well within earshot of them.
Durgan would eat. Definitely.
Yeah, you guys are definitely feeling the exhaustion at this point.
I'm throwing down some drinks, man. If there's some mead being passed, I'm drinking that. So.
Oh, you
And I
know
would
what?
certainly sample some.
I was gonna say, you know what? I actually have a barrel of ale from Rourke. I totally.
You got that half keg.
Yes!
Exactly. Durgan goes,
You are the
wait a minute.
man!
I have the perfect thing for this! And I just pull out my pack and slam it down, and I pop the cork out, and I'm like, all right,
Durgan!
who
Durgan!
wants a taste?
I grab it. Ah,
I lovingly and lightly punch your gut. Like, not crazy, just that, like, just enough to where you let go of the barrel, and I go, oi, nobody drinks from the tap but me.
Only a dwarf could say, I lovingly and lightly punch you.
That's how Houdini died, man.
And I grab it, and I will nicely, I'll go, hey, open your mouth, and I'll pour a little in there.
Thanks, Durgan.
And I would come up with my mug and say, fill me up, although...
I would
appreciate...
sloppily fill it. Now, here's the thing. A dwarf knows how to pour ale, so there is not a bunch of foam like you're at some arena watching a concert, right?
What?
I pour it
Pour
sloppily.
it with lots of foam. You're out of your mind.
Oh, not Durgan. No.
You mean the
Come
last
on,
time
taste the buddy. So I just, like, I'm swirling around the glass, and it's just sloshing everywhere.
Mhm.
But you have this thick, beautiful head that's only probably about, an inch off the top of the glass.
Yeah.
That's how a dwarf pours.
That's
what I
pretty
meant.
nice.
I thought you were saying it looks distilled. No, that's perfect.
And while I appreciate the sentiment, I gotta say, this isn't quite the same without a bowl of that
Oh, you can
stew.
stand up a spoon in that ale. It's the best.
Yeah. A hot meal would do me better, but oh well. And I take a big swig.
And Dice looks to you and says, how about over here? And you look, and there's a kind of a cauldron swirling of a thick stew going on.
You want some beer in there?
not in the stew, but I'll have some in my mug, please.
Oh, what are you drinking out of?
Whatever.
Okay, you got a
Yeah,
shoe
dude.
or something? I don't have anything for you.
Shoot the boots!
I would grab. I was gonna say I would probably grab the tin cup of just well, there you go, and just kind of delicately fill like the inch deep cup and hand it to him.
Well then,
If you
Dice
find yourself a proper cup, you can come and fight me later.
Well then, Dice will slowly put his shoe back on. Okay, all right. And I'll take what you have to offer.
Oh,
And he'll drink. And he'll kind of cozy up to Erdon and say, sister, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Where? Where is she?
That's just it. I don't know. I mean, I think she's probably... I left her with my father. You see... Well, our father... He taught me how to use a blade. That's about it. She's probably fine.
And Dice would nod as if understanding. And he would say, well, you can use a blade quite well. Yeah.
He did that well, too. And that's about it.
He nods in understanding. Some stew. And he hands you a bowl.
Thank you. And I slap him on the back, and I take kind of a swig out of the bowl as well, and say, "You're coming along nicely. You're cooking well, and gotta say that magic coming along."
I don't really know where it came from. Yeah, that's it.
Right.
So as this is going on, Brasswick pulls his axe off his side and slams it into the log that they're currently sitting on, and then sits next to him and says, "Hey boys, how about that mead? You enjoying it?"
Well, it I don't drink it for the taste, Brasswick.
What are you talking about? It's delicious.
I gotta admit, it's pretty good. I never did fancy the elven wine much, but well, it's one of the things that always was a pleasure of the road for me, getting out of the Shade Vale. Dwarven ale ain't bad.
Excellent. I'm glad you agree.
And Durgan would find, if you're cool with this, Matt, Durgan would basically find a group of the Dwarven Rangers maybe sitting around their own fire, kind of eating, and he would plop down the rest of the barrel, and he would just go, "Oi, you boys have earned this. Drink up. I don't want there to be a drop left." And he kind of just sets it down.
The 6 surviving rangers, battered and weary, all raise their tankards to you, Durgan, and they say, "Thanks." And they start pouring, take a drink, nod really approvingly, raise their tankards again, and keep drinking.
I would raise my glass and I'd say, "To the White Crag mountain range."
To the White Crags, may the glaciers never melt, or we'll have to learn how to swim.
And Dice would raise his mug to the White Crags, not knowing at all what that means. he would raise his glass.
And you all definitely notice that Dagrim is not hanging out with the other rangers. He's actually standing about 20 feet away from the firelight, and he's just cradling his thunderbow, and he's just kind of scanning the horizon, just watching.
And Durgan would have sidled up to him and then held up one last mug of the ale that he had poured before he gave it to the Rangers and say, I don't think I forgot about you. Hand him the mug. And you know what? I know we've had our differences in the past, but you know, I appreciate you doing this for us. And I know that it's for the good of Stone Rift. And, well, that's all.
I think at the end of the day, Durgan, we both have the city's best interests at heart. And that's where we see eye to eye.
Aye.
And he takes a swig of it, and he says, "You know your beard's blue, right?"
Oh, damn it, I forgot about my beard! And he kind of... He starts storming off going, "All right, who knows enough magic to get this back right?"
And Dice will start moving away kind of like silently, like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap.
And the rangers are all kind of like laughing into their hands at the fire.
Oh,
Durgan!
you know...
Durgan! Over
What?
here! Come here!
Can you fix this mess?
I might be able to do something.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Brasswick. And
No,
Dice
I
looks at
should
Durgan. It's
help
beautiful. Durgan, it's beautiful. It's amazing. It's the latest fashion in Stone Rift. Just trust me.
I agree. It could be quite fashionable here
Yeah.
in Stone Rift.
Looks like I've been
You look
sharing
like-
some kisses with a blue dragon!
You look like Fabio.
Would I be able to use my thaumaturgy to change the color at least while I'm focusing on it?
Let me...
I could change the color of flames.
Let me look.
He's
My beard is
flipping
going to
through
set
the
on
book.
fire, isn't it?
I know. He's flipping through the book. That usually means we get what we want. Oh, wait. Matt has the new Dungeon Master's Guide. Oh, crap.
Durgan, let me focus here for a minute. Start running my fingers through it again. Not really, I'm kidding.
Careful, careful.
Yeah, I'll bet you are running your fingers through his hair.
I can say that you can, going off the spell, you can alter the appearance of his beard, but only for up to a minute.
And then I'd have to do it again.
And then you'd have to do it again, yeah.
So, okay, I'll tell you
Give it a
what,
try.
Durgan.
Just think
Yeah.
real hard.
So Durgan, it looks like I can do it as long as I focus on it. So what I can tell you is when you meet with the king, if you're able to grant an audience, I will happily do it before you walk in there and just try my hardest to maintain the focus and so they don't ever see it blue.
So
I
Durgan
can't
grabs...
permanently do it though.
So Durgan grabs his hand axe, and he grabs the tuft of beard, and he holds the hand axe up to the hair to cut it off, and then he looks at you, and he looks down at the blue, and he looks at you, and he looks down, and he kind of pushes the hand axe just a little, and bink, one hair cuts off, and he goes,
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Fine. And puts his hand on his bone.
You know
I
the
hope
length
you
of your
have-
beard is very important.
Of course it is. You better be real good at
It's the
concentration.
sign of a man. I'll study. I'll see if there is anything I can do. In the meantime, just bear with me here. We might be able to pretty it up. Maybe we can find, I don't know, a bear or something, and we'll figure something out. Okay?
In the meantime, Durgan takes a little bit of his ale. This is how important his beard is to him. He takes a little bit of his ale and he pours it in the mud. Or he pours it in the dirt, making mud, and he kind of rubs his hand around it, and he runs the mud through his little beard.
Gross.
He's like,
Nice.
damn, that's a Band-Aid at least.
That looks much better already, friend.
Well, I was going to offer you some of this stew here, but mud will do.
I wouldn't
And,
wait to stew.
One of the rangers at the other table, at the other fire, goes, maybe you can braid flowers in it, Durgan."
Oi, who said that? I want my ale back.
Can Dice kind of prestidigitation, some sort of flowery rainbow sort of ripply color in Durgan's beard? You could flip
Yes.
the book, or you could just say yes. Yeah.
Yes, you can.
And he would do so in a very it's pretty way.
And with prestidigitation, it lasts for an hour.
Oh damn!
You could do a better job than I could.
So I think for fun, I don't know that Durgan would notice. You know, he thinks I think he's got the mud through his beard and he's focusing on his stew and he's trying to eat and just
Some flowers start blooming.
well, what would something like that look like from Dice?
It would look like it would look like, I like the visual of oil inside water, where it's totally separate but flowing, and when you look at it from an angle, you see kind of rainbow colors all along your beard. It's really like pearly, kind of.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, me too.
Wish I was a druid right now.
You are looking good there.
I'm pretty sure we've all thought that at one time or another. I wish I were a druid.
I'm sure I could do something fun like entangle from his beard or something.
I'm sure. My favorite part is I'm sure Matt's looking at his notes right now like, God, I had so much planned.
Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect.
So Durgan
Well,
just goes about eating his stew, as everyone probably laughs in muttered voices.
If you ever get the taste to trim, I think my blade will do a little better than that axe.
Alright, I might take you up on that.
No, Durgan, no. We will find some dye in one of these towns, and we will fix it.
Aye.
You can't cut your beard off.
Aye.
I would be so ashamed.
I won't. And he just
Okay.
turns and he's eating his stew with his rainbow beard glowing in the night.
So, you guys bed down pretty soon after this, and the Rangers set up a watch shift. And it doesn't take long for you all to fall asleep. The exhaustion takes you pretty quickly. There's a chill on the air, though, that if you wake up in the middle of the night, there's just no warmth about you. It's all just seeping into the ground beneath you, and you all kind of huddle close to the fire as much as you can, but it's not the most comfortable night you've spent outdoors. For Durgan and Brasswick, it's probably fairly comfortable. They're used to this sort of temperature and the frigidness on the air. At one point in the night, you all are woken up by a couple of the Rangers shooing off a pack of wolves that are kind of milling around the outskirts of the camp, but otherwise it's a fairly uneventful night, and you all wake up as the sun peeks up over the white crags in the distance, and Dagram starts putting his boot into the sleeping pads of his Rangers, getting them up off the ground. He says, "All right, up you lot. We gotta make Stone Rift by midday."
Durgan will be snoring.
Get up! And Dice would kick Durgan with his boot.
Okay. Guys, give me a moment to pray.
No. Oh, I mean, yes.
I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear that.
That's probably a good idea.
As
And Dice would have
Brasswick
turned
is seeing to his morning prayers, Dagrim kind of catches the rest of you and he says, "All right, so I'm getting you an audience with the two kings of Stone Rift. It's gonna be a bit of, well, it's gonna be tough. As I said, I went against their wishes when I took the Rangers and went to Demeter. But coming back with the head of Migrog, well, it'll probably appease them enough where I can get their audience.
Aye.
Durgan can probably fill you in on the particulars, but we have two kings in Stone Rift, Balrock Hornhelm and Nosmer Stonehammer. Hornhelm, he's the king of the army. He oversees everything military in Stone Rift. The Rangers, the army, everything. Nosmer, he sees to the infrastructure, commerce, the economy, and all the smithing and crafting that happens. It's a strange system, but it's worked for centuries, so we're not looking to change it. If you can appeal to one of them, they can probably convince the other to do the same. However, they've been arguing a lot lately, and progress in Stone Rift has pretty much come to a halt because of it. Nothing's getting done because the two of them can't agree on anything. So, what I'm telling you is the cards are stacked against you.
Aye. They've argued for a long time, but you're telling me it's gotten worse then?
Much worse.
And Dice would look at Durgan and say, well, the cards are stacked against us. I'm not sure we've had it any other way.
Agreed. And Durgan would kind of just smile at our luck thus far.
And unless you guys have anything else you want to do, the party sets out with the Dwarven Rangers and heads into the territory of Stone Rift. And let me bring up a picture.
A picture. Right here.
Picture.
A picture right here, please.
So, it's pretty soon that you start hearing the rolling of thunder in the distance. Oh.
Beautiful.
Barker just dropped. So you hear the roll of thunder in the distance and the flash of lightning as you enter the territory of Stone Rift. It's a burned and blasted canyon, sort of black and glassy from the repeated lightning strikes that plague this land. And legend says that it was the lightning that actually carved this canyon, though the fact that there are rivers sort of running through the canyon and pouring into Stone Rift proper tells you that that's probably exaggeration. But the constant lightning storms is definitely not an exaggeration. There are clouds constantly hovering above Stone Rift, crackling with this electrical energy. Frigid glacial rivers cascade down from the White Crags and pour into the canyon. And as you approach the city, you can see that the city is in the largest of these canyons, and everything is sort of set into the walls. It's almost like a honeycomb of structures sort of built into the walls themselves of this canyon. And the rivers are cascading down into the rift, powering water wheels and collecting in these massive pools down hundreds of feet below you. And as you're standing there at the precipice of this canyon, lightning is striking like once every couple of minutes, just down into the rift and flashing brilliantly down at the bottom of the canyon. The humid haze of these waterfalls sort of cascading down into the rift sort of gives it a surreal beauty, because there's these blue light lamps shining all throughout the city, powered by the lightning energy, and the lightning strike is illuminating it, and it just sort of gives it this otherworldly sort of beauty to it, where it's sort of terrifying and beautiful at the same time. And you can see there's sort of a path running down the canyon, sort of switchbacking that looks a little too narrow for a bunch of dwarves to be walking down, but they all sort of unload the cargo from their rams and mount up and ask you to do the same. And if you question it at all, both Dagram and Durgan would tell you the only way down is by ram.
Aye.
I don't like the look of this.
I'd hop up on a ram.
As would I.
I would.
I reluctantly would. What's that?
No, you go ahead first.
I would reluctantly kind of look over at Dice and say, I don't know about this.
That's exactly what I would have said. Dice looks at everyone. Well, I don't think we have a choice.
It's the first time for everything.
It's the first time for everything.
I guess I was expecting something a little more hospitable, but well, anyway. And I get on the ram.
And myself too.
Dagram says, "An elf of Shadevale expecting something hospitable." I guess you've seen everything. Come on, let's go. And the rams sort of shift their weight a little uncomfortably at the unfamiliar shape of elf kind in their saddles, but they're actually quite docile and agreeable once you get on them, and you probably have at least a little bit of experience with horses, and you're able to sort of dig your heels into their sides, and they sort of start clomping down this really narrow walkway down into the city. And for anyone who hasn't done it before, it's a little terrifying seeing this just sheer drop down the side. And to make matters worse, you're going under these waterfalls that are cascading down, and so there's like a curtain of water next to you as you're going down, and you're just getting soaked by this frigid glacial water. And lightning is striking every couple of minutes, just lancing down into the canyon, like mere feet away from you. And eventually you get down, and it's about a 20-minute climb down. But eventually the walkway evens out, and you see cut into the canyon of this walkway is a city. It's inside the canyon walls. It doesn't have an open sky above it like a normal surface city would, but it has its own kind of beauty to it. And you get down and you see there are dwarves here. There's hundreds of them milling about, going in every direction. There's dwarven warriors carrying huge mauls, very similar to Durgan's, and they're patrolling the city. And there's markets going up and down these aisleways, and carts going to and fro being pulled by rams and oxen. And you see a lot of dwarves walking around, and they're wearing these leather aprons, and they have these metal gauntlets on their hands that are glowing sort of a bright blue. And they're all sort of walking around and talking amongst themselves. And a few of the dwarves notice the rangers coming home and nod to them and bow appreciatively. And a few of them sort of give suspicious looks at the elf bloods that have come down with the ranger party. So the city of Stone Rift sort of just sprawls out in front of you, and Dagram looks at you all and he says, "Welcome to Stone Rift. This is my home."
Great
Aye.
craftsmanship here.
Indeed. A great home it is.
I've never seen anything like this, and I just kind of look around, just bewildered by what I'm seeing.
Nor will you ever again. It's unlike anything else in the world. Drink it in, boy. This ain't no elven forest.
Can't say I ever wanted to see anything like this, but it does have its own beauty, I suppose.
I offer compliments, trying to butter up the dwarves that we're with, but secretly I'm thinking, our culture's nicer. And I'll do the same thing with Durgan all the time. I'll never let him know my true feelings.
Nice.
Dagram says, "Well, first stop is probably to report in to the kings, so if you lot are ready, I can get you an audience."
Aye. Should we clean up? There are a couple of things we need to make sure we've got in order here. Everyone
What is your beard?
Right, indeed. We can try to dye it, or you can do your fancy magic on it.
Aye, take the time you need. I will, I'll wait.
And Durgan would just take a little time to explain perhaps some rituals, maybe just like, never do this, always say this, don't do this, etc. And then just, and now this is coming from someone who's filthy, is just doing his best to kind of spit on his armor and, shine it up and take the little last pieces and unbend them and try to look reasonably decent.
Would I be able to find something like paint or dye for his beard?
Yeah,
in town real quick.
if you wanna like quickly like delve into the market and try to find something that will work.
Yes, I'm gonna be running through there. I'm gonna tell Durgan to start cleaning up nicely, and then I'm gonna go find something for him.
Why don't you give me an investigation roll, please?
Okie dokie. Oh my goodness. Luck.
That's what he rolled. I roll luck.
I rolled first of all, the first time I rolled a nat 1 minus 2 is -1. This time I rolled a 9 minus 2 and came up with a 7.
Oh. So you quickly running through the market, it's overwhelming to you. There's so many different booths selling different things that there's nothing really that sticks out to you as being usable as a hair dye. It's not something that dwarves typically will sell. So
does anyone have boot polish anywhere? That's what I yell.
A few dwarves kind of look at you, but most of them kind of ignore you, just like, what's this guy's deal?
Dang it. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to rush back then. Durgan, I got terrible news.
What'd you find?
Couldn't find anything. I don't know where to go. I'm at a loss, man. And nobody's helpful. I don't know what to do.
It's been a long time since I've been here either. I hate to admit it, but it's changed a lot. I can't even help you.
Well, Dice! Erdon, what the heck are you doing?
I get off my ram and I look at it and I look at Durgan. Well, how long has it been since you've been here?
Oh, I stopped counting. It's been years.
Are you? You're kidding.
Do I look like I'm kidding?
No.
This beautiful blue beard.
Don't answer that. I'm not kidding.
Nice.
He kind of crosses his arm. I'm not kidding. It's been a while. Some things happened here. We already have the odds stacked against us, but I've got to tell you, the kings probably aren't going to be too happy to see me either.
Well, Dice, do you have some magic stuff you can do to his beard? Anything?
Good.
I can freeze it.
I don't think that will help.
You don't know what illusion
Freeze the
is?
beard, Dice. Freeze the beard.
And Dice wisps his hands around sarcastically and says, I can read its thoughts.
My beard's probably thinking the same thing I am, which is I could probably strangle you one-handed.
I pull my blade partway out of its sheath and I say, you've seen my blade at work. I can get pretty intricate if you want.
I'm not looking for a haircut. If we go in there and my beard doesn't look normal, they're not even going to talk to me. They're going to laugh me out of the room.
Dice would probably, at this moment, I mean, if it hadn't been already more than an hour, he would probably try to remove the rainbow sheen.
Oh yeah, you absolutely can.
Awesome.
Yeah, it disappeared while Durgan was sleeping. He woke up without the rainbow.
Awesome. No, it looks good, Durgan. I mean, it really does. I wish I had a beard like that.
Don't you dwarves value scars of battle? I mean, isn't that what it is?
Well, we're going to find out.
Durgan, you're immediately reminded of, you remember the stories you used to hear of the old dwarf Bareface, who was a hero who had his beard and hair completely burned off by a dragon, and went on to lead a bunch of different adventures and missions, even though he was a beardless dwarf. But his face was essentially just scar tissue.
And I would kind of recant that, to them. I'd say, "Aye, we value that kind of thing, but not over a little skirmish like that."
And
Well.
at this point, Dagram is kind of moving up to you, and he overhears what you're talking about, and he says, "Aye, an old bare-face had no beard, not half a beard."
And he had scars to go along with it, obviously.
One heck of a story to tell. Not
And,
his elven friend cut it off.
Listen, we need to go in there now, or we're going to lose our chance. Are you lot
Aye.
ready?
Let's go. And I would
Go.
sort of tuck the blue into my armor. Just a little.
You could
Even if
braid it, and so it won't stand. You can try and make sure it's lined up behind it. Here,
Sure.
let me help you. I'll show you how to braid a
I'll do
beard.
any manner of things like that. Like just the
show
best cobbled together, tucked, braided
Yeah,
situation.
we'll braid it,
Yeah.
but keep it in the back. It's like
Yeah,
a
so
strand on the back.
between like the mud that you put in there and braiding it sort of like expertly, you get it so where the blue isn't super noticeable. If someone went up to you and really looked, they could see that there's blue in your beard, but it doesn't stand out as much now.
And
Awesome.
Dice would look at Aerodon and say, "No, the blue's gone." Well, that's a bit upsetting, don't you think?
Yeah, that was it gave him character.
I was kind of counting on it. Man,
Dagram says to Dice and Aerodon, he says, "Maybe it'd be better if it was all blue."
Hey, watch your mouth over there.
That'd be a sight.
And
And
Durgan would
let's go.
say, "On with it then. Bring us."
So
go.
Dagram leads you guys through the twisting hallways of Stone Rift, and as you guys are moving deeper into the walls of this canyon, you see that the city must extend out like miles in either direction. It's insane how big this place is, and there's these softly glowing blue lamps everywhere that kind of give the city this strange sort of blue light to it. Everything powered by the lightning that is coursing through the canyon. And Dagram leads you past the market and through a couple different smithing districts and a couple of residential homes, and he finally takes you into this huge chamber, and it's almost like Moria in Lord of the Rings, where these pillars are just extending up above you, just like feet and feet and feet, and it's sort of disappearing into the ceiling, and it's just this massive empty room with these huge pillars just carved out of the very rock, and he's leading you through these pillars, and eventually you come to this massive set of double doors flanked on both sides by these dwarves who are wearing armor that is glowing blue in between the plates. And as you approach them, it sounds like a bug zapper. It's sort of this low hum that is just like right at the edge of your ability to hear them. And they're standing there with these huge mauls, and their faces are hidden behind helmets with glowing blue visors. And Dagram says, as kind of an aside, "Royal Guard, don't piss them off."
Noted.
yeah, Dice nods.
And Dagram comes up and he nods to the guards at the door, and he says, "Dagram Bolt Thrower, monthly audience with the two kings." The guards look at each other and nod and open the doors, and Dagram looks back at you and he says, "Give me 10 minutes. I'll bring you in."
I turn to Erdon and Dice, and I say, and Durgan, and I say, do we need to go in there with you, Durgan, or do you think it's better you go alone?
I would look to Dagram and I'd say, "Aye, what do you think? It's been a while since I've been here."
"I think you should all go."
Aye.
And he looks to Erdon and he says, "You may have elves among you, but that elf killed Migrog Oakfell.
Agreed. Well put.
Give me 10 minutes. I'll butter him up as best I can."
Aye.
And he heads inside, and the guards close the doors behind him and they both stand there, and you can all just feel their like gaze on you as they're standing there with their helmets, just completely silent and still.
And Durgan, in the 10 minutes, he'd say, "Is that you, Trigram? Have you become a royal guard?"
And the guard kind of like nods, like just slightly, and he says, "Aye, but I can't talk."
You know this one, Durga?
Oh, we used to do a little bit of bolt throwing, didn't we, Trigram? Well, you can't talk now.
Is
And
that what,
you see, he's kind of laughing a little bit, and he goes, "Hey, we did it, that." And his partner kind of like punches him in the arm, and he goes, "Right, can't talk."
Sorry. Sorry.
And he
You
says,
dwarves are a curious kind.
Durgan, you have some of the most disciplined friends, I tell you.
Dice will lean over and whisper to Durgan, "Bolt throwing. Is that what they call it these days?"
Hi.
And we're 3.5 hours in, and I just got a first peanut joke.
I was gonna make a penis joke when you guys were fighting Migrog because you got him at exactly 69 HP, but I didn't want to say anything. So.
Yeah, I was going to make a joke about seeing up his loincloth, but
Yeah, I noticed when I was talking, I was like, "I'll search his loincloth," and I thought, what kind of an idiot? What kind of improv is that?
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Actually, it was only, 3 hours, so I guess I was wrong.
So, Durgan being so excited, it's like talking to a Canadian about hockey. He just sees past the entendre and is like, "Hey, bolt throwing. That's how we keep us past the time down here. Oh, I'll have to show it to you sometime. You might die, but it's a lot of fun."
Yeah, I'm okay.
And the guard known as Trigram goes, "Hey, my brother died bolt throwing."
And Durgan would kind of put his hand on his chest and kind of put his head on, and he goes, "Aye. Oh, but what catch?"
It was a good death, a damn good death.
Oh
He caught that bolt like a pro, and the other guard like punches him in the arm again, and he's like, "Right, sorry."
Right, okay. Let's take a step back. We're gonna
This is too much.
The doors.
Let's break him. Rest his soul.
He says, "Aye, Brigham, he caught a bolt better than anyone."
I'll say that. I will say that. And you know how good I am. Okay, I'm going to get you in trouble. I go back away.
The doors finally open after about 10 minutes, and Dagram is standing there, and he's got this look on his face, and he kind of like shakes his head, and then he goes, "All right, let's go."
Durgan looks at everybody, and he says, "First walk in, drop to your right knee, and bow your head. Don't ask questions."
I'll kind of keep my hand on Durgan so I can do it almost in unison with him. Like at the same time.
And so Durgan would kind of look at Trigram, and then, at Dagram, and kind of push through the doors. And immediately upon walking in, what would Dice do? I heard a roll.
I rolled. Dice would do exactly as you requested.
Oh, thank God.
Does he have like a random... Okay, sorry, out of character. Do you have like a table you're rolling on to determine your actions?
No, but sometimes I just can't agree with myself. So I'm like, would Dice go?
I love that, though. That's one of those things we're talking about. I think it makes this fun to roleplay because conflict is story. Without conflict, what's the point of doing all this?
Sometimes I'll roll my character's wisdom or intelligence just to see if they're thinking clearly or not.
You did it for Migrog. You did it for Migrog in the combat.
Exactly.
I'm inspired.
Dice would walk in and he would kneel exactly as Durgan would have suggested.
Perfect. So then Durgan steps in, bows to one right knee quickly, and he says, "Durgan, son of Repository Keeper Bulgren, I kneel in honor to Balrock Hornhelm and Nosmir Stormhammer. We seek your audience." And then he continues to bow his head and is silent, waiting for the kings to speak.
So you all come in and you go to your knee, and you see in front of you that this audience chamber is quite a bit smaller than the antechamber leading into it. There are no great pillars in here, no wall hangings. The only adornment is emblazoned on the wall behind the two massive thrones is the lightning bolt with the hammer, the symbol of the city of Stone Rift. And these two high-backed stone thrones are set about equal distance apart from the symbol in the center of the room. And on one, on the left throne, is a large, burly, muscular dwarf bedecked with all kinds of jewelry and ornate armor. He has a crown on his head, but at his feet is his namesake, the horn helm, a golden helmet with the massive horns of a battle ram sort of attached to the sides. And leaned up against his throne is a massive thunder maul, sort of similar to the one that Durgan is holding, but much more ornate looking. He has golden bands around his braided beard, and he's just done up just resplendently. He looks every piece the king that he's supposed to be. This is Balrock Hornhelm, the leader of the armies of Stone Rift, and he inclines his head curtly at you, Durgan, and then lapses back into his chair. Seated in the right throne is pretty much the exact opposite. Dressed plainly and holding a undecorated warhammer. He's wearing a very simple crown and is just pretty much layered in furs and leathers, is Nosmer Stormhammer, the king of commerce and economy and smithing here in Stone Rift. Both of them look the party over, and it's Balrock that speaks first. And he looks at you, Durgan, and he says, "Durgan, Blood Mountain, it has been some time since you've walked the halls of Stone Rift. What brings you here now at this hour?" And he inclines his head over to the left side of the room, and you see that the head of Migrog Oakfell is sitting there, sort of on an altar where it's been lain, and he says, "I hear that you and your friends had something to do with the death of our friend Migrog Oakfell. Speak now, freely."
Durgan would slowly raise his head, apprehensively, and kind of look up. This is very overwhelming. There's a lot going on in his mind, and so I'm actually going to roll.
Go for it.
To see if I can pull this off.
Nice.
Okay. It's a 14, and I don't even know what skill I'm going to use yet. I guess I would do Persuasion.
Yeah, Persuasion or just a flat Charisma if you weren't trying to do anything specific.
All right, so then I'll do flat Charisma because I don't think he would have the wits to try to persuade them. He's just trying to make it through this. So that's a 16.
Okay.
So he'll kind of catches his breath and say, "I, myself, and these friends of Stone Rift, bled, felling Migrog Oakfell, and we come to you because we have found that he is one small cog in a bigger machine of war." And then he would put his head back down.
Balrog kind of looks over and gives Nosmer kind of this look. And he looks back to you and he says, "You speak of the rumors of a large barbarian horde moving to the north. We have heard such tales. We have led them no credence. Who's to say that the giants simply weren't taking up, dwelling in Demeter? It's not unheard of for them to do so. A decade ago, there were orcs. A decade before that, centaurs. How are the giants any different?"
Well, he would still kind of look down and he would look over. Is Dagram in the room with us?
Dagram is kind of standing back by the doors with his arms crossed and his head bowed.
So Durgan would kind of look back, just looking at him like, "Man, I'm not sure what to say. I know this guy doesn't like me in the first place."
Dice would move forward. Dice would take a step forward off of his knee, and he would say, Balrock, Hornhelm, my name is Aaron Ellington. Some of my friends call me Dice. There. Laugh if you wish. He reaches in his pocket and he pulls out a wooden kind of clump, and it's been worked a little bit with a blade. And you can tell by looking at it that on part of it, it's been shapen into a dice, but it's not complete. This is for my daughter. Her name is Holly. She lives in Falhast. Your enemies, your giants, they're not taking dwelling in Demeter. They're moving north to Falhast, and what happens when they take it? What happens to Stoneriff when Falhast burns? And then he looks at Eredon. I might be a half-elf, and my friend here is an elf, but let me tell you right now that I live in this world, and so do you. What can we do? Do you guys hear my cat meowing? There's a cat meowing
very,
in the background.
not too loud though. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
Dice's cat.
Yeah, Dice's cat. He
I
pulls
got a cat in my bag here.
We
Gonna
found
eat it later.
He says, I would do anything to stop this from happening. But it is happening. And he kind of takes a step back and he looks at everybody else and then he gets back down on his knee.
A kind of heavy silence falls over the room and Balrock is just kind of looking at you, Dice, and he says, yes, if the army is moving north, it would lead us to believe they are heading to Falhast. You worry for your daughter. Mr. Ellington, was it?
Yes, it was.
I worry for my people, for my kingdom.
Me too.
And at this point, I would step forward and I would raise my head and say, if you worry for your people, you must worry for people everywhere. How would you like a neighbor to the north that is hostile? A neighbor dominated by a defiled, evil, corrupted heart of a king. We have faced this man. You do not want him as a neighbor.
You all speak with great passion. I'm inclined to listen to you only because this man, and he inclines his head towards Dagram, has vouched for you. The words you speak, I have heard them before. Dagram has told them to me. We are aware of the presence in Demeter. Whether or not it is indicative of a greater threat, we are not aware of. However, if I do trust what you are saying, if I believe what you are saying, that some great, corrupted, evil army is moving north to the city of Falhast, yes, it interests us. Does it concern us, though? This is the question I pose to you, Nosmer, and this other king who has not spoken yet looks at Balrock and he looks at you all and he says, you know my stance on the matter, Balrock. But I do not command the armies of Stonerift, and you are choosing to warm the throne with your ass rather than strike out against the army. I have spoken my piece. There is no need for us to bicker in front of the subjects.
At this point, Durgan would stand up, probably on adrenaline alone, and he'd say, the rumors are true. There is a rogue convoker, and he leads this army. and I fought him in battle myself.
The ring, Durgan. Where's the ring?
Aye. And I would look at Brasswick. And I'd say, show him the ring.
You're talking about the ring I'm wearing?
Aye.
I hold it up and show it off. And I say, here's the ring of the Convoker.
Balrog kind of leans forward a little bit, but Nosmer actually gets up and he comes down the steps of his throne and he comes towards you, Brasswick, and he extends his hand out and he says, "May I?"
Every kiss begins with K.
We're going to get some sponsorship soon, man. Arby's, Little Caesars, and now K Jewelers. All right. I'll show him the ring.
Flash your bling at him.
Yeah.
He sort of grabs your hand and he looks at the ring. He turns your hand over. And he looks back to Balrog and he says, "This is the signet ring of a Convoker. It is not worn by any else. Perhaps what they say is true, Balrog. Perhaps there is a rogue Convoker leading these people." And he goes back to his throne, and Balrog leans forward and he goes, "Then tell me this. If there is a rogue Convoker, then why hasn't the Convocation sent people to stop him? Any theories?"
Actually, Dice would look around puzzled.
So would Durgan.
That's a good point.
I don't know. Maybe they're ashamed. Maybe they won't admit it.
Maybe they're a part of it.
And Durgan kind of just like, what? Looks at Dice like,
And I do too.
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about?
You're suggesting that the Convocation is involved in an invasion in the Southlands.
Well, I didn't say that. He said that.
The half-elf, it was him.
I didn't.
It's his idea.
This is
I
quite
look
the
around.
accusation, Mr. Ellington.
I look
push
around.
him forward.
Obviously,
I push you forward to the front of us.
I'm obviously I'm abandoned by my comrades.
I kind of step forward and I say, the truth is we don't know. But we know that something is wrong here. A great evil is at work. And we're going to do what we have to do to stop it.
And Dice nods.
Your efforts thus far are appreciated. Dagram told me about the Battle of Demeter, that you all fought bravely and valiantly, and that the 6 dwarven rangers who died there didn't do so in vain.
Excuse me.
However, I'm in command of the armies here in Stone Rift. And what I see is a threat that does not concern Stone Rift at this time. However, both King Nosmer here, Dagram Bolt Thrower, who I trust implicitly, and you lot, including Durgan Bloodmountain, a man who used to work the repository alongside his father. You all tell me I should be concerned, and so I'm going to take pause and do so. I'm going to think on this. Nosmer and I will discuss it. But I will say this. Stone Rift has marched for better than this in the past. We fought dragons and giants, an invasion of orcs, and no one was there. Not one person was there to aid us aside from ourselves. So you, elf, he looks to you, Erdon, you say we should be concerned with the people of the world. They are not concerned with us, and therefore we are not concerned with them. If we march, it is for Stone Rift. If we fight, it is for Stone Rift, and Stone Rift alone.
Dice would look at Erdon and say, "Where are you from, Erdon?"
The Shade Veil.
And he would look at Brasswick. Where are you from, Brasswood?
From the north.
And Turgan from Stone Rift, and I'm from Talmor. There is no way you can look me in my face and tell me that nobody has stood beside you.
This one has some fire in him.
Can I make a thunder happen at this time? Lithometer?
Yeah, sort of this thunder rumbles in the distance as Dice stares this king down menacingly.
Bum,
Yes.
bum, bum!
Since I know lightning as their thing, maybe it's a calling.
And Balrock kind of chuckles and he says, I've brought my hammer down on the heads of people for less than that, Mr. Ellington. But it is true, in times of old, we had allied ourselves with the humans of this land and even the elves of Shadevale. But it has been centuries. You may leave us now. Nosmer and I will discuss your proposition. And as he's talking, Dagram kind of... and Dagram looks to Durgan and he says, the crate.
And Durgan kind of gives him a look like, kind of shakes his head like, should we?
And Dagram kind of like shrugs and gives you this look like, at this point, I don't know, man.
I like punch him in the shoulder, Durgan, and I say, tell him.
And I kind of just, we accept your audience with us. We thank you for your time. And Durgan kind of looks at everybody and goes, rise slowly. Thank you so much. And he kind of like turns to start walking out.
And Balrock immediately gets up from his throne and moves to leave the audience chamber from the back door. Nosmer kind of lingers and watches you all go, just silently looking from under his crown. And then he too stands and moves out. Dagram kind of ushers you all out of the door. And the stone doors close behind you with a thud. And Dagram says, that went better than I was expecting.
Aye. Durgan kind of lets out a big breath. You can see he's noticeably got more sweat than ever when he's fighting.
And then Dagram looks at you, Dice, and he says, I thought you said you were going to keep the jumping out of windows to a minimum. You just stared down Balrock Hornhelm.
I thought he was a goner.
Dice looks terrified, actually. Like, oh, shit. Wait. What? He seems very worried that he might have ruined it for everybody. But
Dice, I think you did a good job. I just want you to know that.
Like you jumping out the window, it worked somehow, so be happy with your victory. If Nosmer was gonna kill ya, he would have done it right there in the audience chamber.
And Durgan would look at the two royal guards, and he would kind of, bid them, and then he would kind of try to emphasize to everybody to, like, let's shuffle off so we're not in earshot of them.
Yeah.
And as soon as we're clear, Durgan would say, there's something not right here. I don't believe I'm going to say this, but I don't trust Balrog. Until I know that he's not the one who's given them the crates, we say nothing. Agreed?
Agreed.
agreed.
And Dagram nods and he says, I think that's the right call. Something off about the way he was talking.
Agreed.
Dagram, you seem to have the most connections around here. I think you need to do some poking around and try to get to the bottom of those crates, those weapons.
Aye, of course, I'll do everything I can, and, well, Durgan, it might be a good place to, start at the bottom. If someone's shipping out weapons to the Giants, it might do us good to check the repository.
Aye. And we both know our way around there, don't we?
We do at that.
Aye.
Alright, you lot, well, let's get to moving then. Looks like you're going to be in Stone Rift for a few days.
I've not been in worse places, actually.
And with the city of Stone Rift sprawling before you and thunder rumbling almost incessantly in the distance, that is where we will leave the Provokers for now.
Oh my god, this game is so rad!
As he says it in such frustration.
I know, I was like, oh, how far are we going to get tonight? I want to know what happens. And actually, before the official close, Durgan would turn to Dagram and he would say, oh, after that, I'm going to need a fine shot of Thunder Whiskey.
And Dagram says, we're all going to need one.
To be continued.
To be continued. Yes, we are breaking for the holidays. We will hopefully be doing another session in January, but if not in January, then absolutely in February. Yeah, great session, guys. That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, that was a blast.
Killing me with these cliffhangers, man.
I love them, though. I love the cliffhanger.
I can't help it, man. I have to end it on a cliffhanger. You gotta keep the 52 viewers coming back for more.
That's right.
Dude, 52, that's nuts.
We almost hit 60 tonight. I was watching it the entire time, and when we hit 60, I don't know, I'm going to do something. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I don't even get 52 viewers to some of my videos. Like, that are sitting there forever.
To be fair, this is, I mean, these sessions are the like best performing videos I've ever had. So it's due in like like equal parts all of us, I think. So
you have live plays as your best videos. That's interesting.
Yeah, which is insane. I don't understand how that happens. The 4-hour videos get the most views on my channel. I don't know how.
Yeah.
And I actually the Sundered Throne campaign, my Pathfinder campaign from last year was my most watched series. This is overtaking it. The first session of Provokers is about to bypass the first session of Sundered Throne in views. So
keep it up, people.
Pretty awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely. Awesome. Keep tuning in, friends, because I'm psyched every single time it's Provoker time.
I know. I get so excited, man. It's always like Christmas. I can't sleep the night before.
If they could only see our chats from Friday through Sunday when we start talking about the game on Sunday. Oh my gosh, guys, I can't wait till Sunday. Oh, it's game day. It reminds me of football.
Yeah.
Like you wake up on Sunday morning and you're like, oh my gosh, my team's playing today. Yeah.
Got my lucky underwear on.
Hasn't been washed since the first session.
No, man, it's true. I look over my notes. I go over, like, lore. I go over character stuff. I'm like, okay, what's the name of the city? What's this? What's this? I, like, go through it because I'm like, dude, I gotta bring it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the broadcast here. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Again, we have been the Provokers. Please subscribe to these guys. Everyone's links is down in the description. Go watch their videos. All awesome guys. So until next time, Provokers out.
Thanks.